If you clicked on this video looking for a zombie audiobook with slow burn psychological terror instead of cheap jump scares, complex characters instead of zombie killing machines, and a bedtime friendly pace that still delivers genuine chills, then you're in exactly the right place. But I need to warn you about 3 things before we begin the Long Scavenge. First, these aren't your typical zombies, but carriers who enter cataleptic states and wake to the smallest glow of light. Second, the real monsters in this story wear human faces and run operations that turn survivors into commodities. And third, this audiobook will make you question everything you think you know about trust, survival, and whether needing someone in the apocalypse is truly a death sentence, or the only thing that makes staying alive worth the fight. Though before we get into it, take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Please say hello in the comments, let us know where you're watching from and what time it is. We're on to building a global community here. Thank you for joining me today. Get comfortable, sit back, relax, and let's dive in. The Long Scavenge, audiobook and narration provided by Frostfall Audio. Chapter 1, Bleed in the Door Frame. The light's gone from the window. That's good. Means I've got maybe 6 hours before the carriers wake up and start hammering at the door again. My left hand's on the table, ring finger extended. The kitchen knife's clean, boiled it twice in the last water I had. There's a leather belt between my teeth, and I'm thinking about my mother, which is stupid, because thinking about anything except the next 30 seconds is how you pass out. The infection test is simple. Cut off the fingertip. If the stump bleeds red, you're clean. If it bleeds black, you've got maybe a day before you start craving light like it's oxygen. I press the blade against the joint. The belt tastes like copper and old sweat. Do it fast or don't do it at all. I push down hard. The pain's immediate, white hot, electric. Bone resists, then separates with a soft crunch I feel in my teeth. The fingertip rolls off the table, hits the floor. I'm counting primes through the belt, 2, 3, 5, 7, anything to keep from looking at what I just did. The stump's bleeding. I force myself to check. Red. Pure red. I spit out the belt. My laugh comes out broken, half sob. Not infected. Not yet. I've been traveling with that dying stranger's blood on my hands for 3 days, and somehow I'm still clean. There's alcohol in the cabinet, 90 proof the last bottle. I pour it straight onto the wound. The scream I swallow tastes like iron. Outside, something heavy slams against the boarded window. The carriers are getting restless. They always do when it's close to dawn, like they can smell the light coming. I wrap the stump in strips torn from my shirt. The phantom ache is already starting, my brain insisting the fingertip's still there, still attached, still whole. Phantom pain for a phantom person in a phantom world. The stranger's in the corner. Been dead for maybe an hour now. I can tell by the way the skin's gone slack around his jaw. He made it almost 3 blocks before the carriers caught his scent. I found him trying to crawl through a basement window, guts hanging out, still alive enough to speak. He pressed something into my hand. Paper. Blood-stained. Folded. The battery, he'd whispered. Radio tower. Last one working. They'll come for you. They'll evacuate. I told him I didn't care. Told him to save his breath. That's when he bit me. Sank his teeth into my forearm hard enough to draw blood. I jerked back and he'd smiled, this awful, knowing smile. Now you care, he'd said. Now you'll check. Then he'd stopped breathing. I should have left then, should have walked away. But the map was already in my hand and my arm was bleeding, and the idea that someone might actually come, that there might be a ship, a helicopter, anything that could take me away from this, I unfolded it. The map's crude, hand-drawn. The battery's marked with a red X, maybe 200 miles north. Notes scribbled in the margins, solar backup, functional antenna, last verified broadcast 19 days ago. 19 days. Could be real. Could be bait. I fold it back up, shove it in my pocket, tell myself I'm just keeping it for reference. For later. for when I need something to burn to stay warm. My hand's throbbing, the wrap's already soaking through. I should eat something, but the last can of beans is 3 days stale and I'm rationing it like it's gold. There's a cracked Nokia in my backpack. I take it out, turn it on. The battery indicator blinks. 3%, enough for maybe 10 seconds of power. I navigate to voicemails, press play. Mom's voice fills the tiny room. Hey baby, I know you're deployed, but I just wanted to say, I cut it off. Save the battery. I've heard the message 200 times. Know every pause, every breath. She was halfway through saying I love you when the shot went off. I heard it through the phone, heard her drop, heard nothing after. That was 8 months ago, before the infection, before the carriers. When the only thing I had to worry about was whether I'd get court-martialed for punching my CO. The hammering at the doors getting louder, rhythmic, persistent. The carriers don't give up. They just wait for the light, wait for their bodies to reboot, and then they keep pushing until something breaks. I pocket the phone, check the wound, still bleeding red but slower now. The stranger's body is starting to smell. I should move it, but I'm too tired, too hollowed out. My B-negative blood is supposedly rare, valuable, the kind of thing that keeps you alive in a world that's decided most people aren't worth saving. I look at the map again. The battery. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. Either way, it's not my problem. I ball up the paper, walk to the camp stove in the corner. The flame's low, but the flame's low. I light the map on fire. The paper curls, blackens. The red X disappears first, then the notes, then the hand-drawn roads. I watch it burn down to ash, and I feel nothing. No regret, no loss. Needing anyone is fatal. Believing in rescue is how you die, stupid. I drop the last burning corner onto the floor, step on it. That's when I notice the other piece, a scrap that fell out when I unfolded the map. It's lying near the stranger's hand, still legible. I pick it up. Battery codes 7 to 79 kilohertz. Authentication phrase Soteria breach. Access tunnel, North Ridge, panel 4. My stomach drops. This isn't just a map, it's an entry key. The stranger's mouth is still open. The bite mark on my arm is starting to swell. I look at the burned fragments on the floor, then at the scrap of paper in my hand, and I realize something that makes my chest go tight. I can't read the rest of it alone. The codes, the frequencies, the tunnel routes, half the information just went up in smoke, and the half that's left is scattered across charred pieces I'll need help reconstructing. There's a campfire in the distance. Saw the smoke 2 nights ago, maybe a mile west. I wrap my hand tighter, grab my pack. Outside the window, the hammering stops. Dawn's coming. The stranger's blood-stained map fragments sit on the floor beside my severed fingertip. Chapter 2. Smoke in the greenhouse. The greenhouse dome is overgrown. That's the first thing I notice when I get close. Vines thick as my wrist crawling up the glass panels, roots breaking through the foundation. The second thing is the smell. Mushrooms. Not the edible kind. I stop at the perimeter. There's a faint shimmer in the air near the entrance, like heat waves, but it's cold out. That shimmer means spores, the kind that eat melanin from the inside out. Breathe them in and you've got maybe 12 hours before your skin goes translucent and you start glowing in the dark. Beautiful way to die. Assuming you like being a lighthouse for every carrier in a 10-mile radius. I pull my shirt up over my nose. It won't help much, but it's better than nothing. The campfire smoke I saw is coming from inside the dome. Someone's using the greenhouse as shelter, which means they're either stupid or desperate enough not to care about spore mines. I'm banking on desperate. Desperate people negotiate. The entrance is a shattered door hanging off one hinge. I step through slowly, testing each footfall. The floor's slick with moss and something darker. Could be water, could be runoff from a ruptured spore mine. I don't look down. Inside, the greenhouse is a jungle. Tomato plants gone feral, beanstalks twisted around support beams, and everywhere, the white caps of spore-bearing fungi. They pulse faintly in the dim light, breathing. The campfire's in the center near an old potting table. Someone's built a stone ring to contain it, and there's a tarp strung overhead to vent the smoke. Smart. Keeps the heat from triggering the spores overhead. No one's here. I scan the space. Backpack near the fire. Bedroll. A medical kit laid out on a cloth, organized, clean, the kind of setup that says professional. Then I see the arrows. 3 of them stuck in the dirt in a triangle pattern around the fire. A warning, or a trap. "You're standing in it," a voice says from above. I freeze. "The spore field," the voice continues. "It's female, steady. You've been breathing it for about 90 seconds. That's not fatal yet, but if you move, you'll disturb the cluster behind you, and then we're both glowing by midnight." I don't turn around. "Don't move. Just listen." "I need medical supplies," I say. My wrapped hand throbs and I can feel blood seeping through the cloth. "You need a lot more than that." There's a rustling sound, fabric on metal. She's on one of the upper catwalks, probably positioned with a clear shot. "What happened to your hand?" "Amputation." "Infection?" "Test." A pause. "You cut off your own finger to check if you were infected?" "Had to be sure." Another pause, longer this time. Then, "You're an idiot." "Probably." "How long ago?" 6 hours. "It's going septic. I can smell it from here." I glance at my hand. The wraps turn brown at the edges. She's right. "I've got a map," I say. "Burned, but parts are salvageable. Leads to the battery. The radio tower. If you help me." "No." "You didn't let me finish." "Don't need to. I've heard the battery pitch before. It's bait. The tower's run by custodians. They lure people in, harvest their organs, keep the eternal pumps running. You walk in there, you don't walk out." "You don't know that?" "I know 4 people who tried. None of them came back." I shift my weight slightly and she makes a sharp sound, half warning, half command. "Don't move." "I'm bleeding out," I say. "If I don't get treatment, I'm dead by tomorrow. If you're not going to help, just say so and I'll leave. You'll disturb the spores? Then shoot me. Either way, problem solved." Silence. Then footsteps on metal. She's climbing down. I keep my eyes forward, watching her shadow resolve against the far wall. She's smaller than I expected, compact, moves like someone who's used to carrying weight. She steps into view, bow drawn, arrow nocked, dark hair tied back, eyes that don't blink enough. "1 cigarette," she says. "What?" "1 cigarette per suture. That's the deal. I've got 4 left, so you get 4 stitches. After that, you're on your own." I stare at her. "You're serious." "Completely." "What if I need more than 4? "Then you'd better hope your body's a fast healer." She lowers the bow slightly, gestures toward the fire. "Sit. Slowly. If you kick up spores, I'll put an arrow in your knee so you can't run. Understood?" "Understood." I move toward the fire, each step deliberate. My boots squelch on the moss, but nothing shimmers. No spores disturbed. When I reach the stone ring, I lower myself down, keeping my injured hand elevated. She kneels across from me, sets the bow aside, but keeps it within reach. Up close, I can see the details. Faded medical student ID, clipped to her belt, a hunting knife with a worn leather grip, and on a cord around her neck, bent dog tags fashioned into an arrowhead. "You're a doctor," I say. "Student. Was." She opens the medical kit, pulls out a needle and thread. "Name's Noemi. Apostolos. Greek? Half," I say. "Other half's Spanish." She unwraps my hand and I see her jaw tighten. "This is bad. You didn't just cut the tip. You took the whole distal phalanx. And you did it with a kitchen knife?" "Boiled it first. That's something, I guess." She threads the needle, holds it over the fire for a few seconds. "This is gonna hurt." I figured. She starts stitching. The pain's immediate, sharp, but I've had worse. I count primes again. 11, 13, 17, and focus on her hands. They're steady. Precise. The hands of someone who's done this before. After the second stitch, she pauses, pulls out a cigarette from her jacket, lights it with a burning twig, takes 1 deep drag, then passes it to me. "Your turn," she says. I take it, inhale. The smoke burns, but it's the good kind of burn, the kind that reminds you you're still alive. We pass it back and forth in silence. By the fourth stitch, the cigarette's down to the filter. She ties off the thread, wraps my hand in clean gauze. That'll hold for maybe 3 days. After that, if it's infected, you're losing the hand. Appreciate the optimism. I don't do optimism. She stands, starts packing up the kit. The battery's north, 200 miles, give or take. If you're stupid enough to go, stay off the main roads. Custodians patrol them. You're not coming? She looks at me. Really looks. No. The map? I don't care about your map. You could read it, piece it back together. I could. She shoulders her pack, picks up the bow. But I won't. The battery's a grave, and I'm not interested in digging my own. She walks toward the entrance, and I realize she's leaving. Just like that. No negotiation. No second thoughts. Wait, I say. She stops, but doesn't turn around. You said you know the map, I press. That means you've seen it before. That means someone you knew tried to reach the battery. Her shoulders stiffen. Who was it, I ask. She's quiet for a long moment. Then, my brother. Did he make it? No. How do you know? Because I'm still here. She steps through the broken door, and I watch her disappear into the jungle of overgrown plants. The fire crackles. My hand throbs. I look down at the fragments of the map in my pocket, then at the medical kit she left behind. Intentionally, I realize. There's extra gauze, alcohol wipes, even a small bottle of antibiotics. The cigarette smoke lingers in the air between us, a temporary truce neither of us asked for. Chapter 3. The Price of a Cigarette. Noemi's 20 meters out when the custodians come through the east wall. Not through the door. Through the wall. Like they've been waiting for us to separate. There are 3 of them, 2 in surgical masks, 1 in a full plague suit. They move fast, coordinated, fanning out to cut off the exits. The one in the plague suit is carrying a tranq rifle. Noemi spins, drops into a crouch. Her bow's up in half a second, arrow drawn. Don't, the plague suit says. His voice is muffled, calm. We're here for the medic, not you. I'm not a medic, Noemi says. You stitched his hand. That makes you close enough. He gestures at me with the rifle. We've been tracking him for 6 hours. B-negative blood, rare, valuable. Our Surgeon General would very much like to meet him. I'm on my feet, hand instinctively moving to the knife at my belt. It's a small blade, ceramic, matte black, designed not to reflect light. Won't do much against a rifle, but it's better than nothing. I'm not going anywhere, I say. That's what they all say. The plague suit takes a step forward. But here's the thing. You're bleeding. You're feverish. And judging by the smell, that wound's already turning septic. You've got maybe 18 hours before you lose the hand. We've got antibiotics. Real ones. Not the black market garbage you've been hoarding. And in exchange, a donation. 1 pint. That's all. 1 pint today, Noemi says. 2 pints next week, then a kidney, then your heart. That's how it works, isn't it? The plague suit shrugs. We prefer to think of it as collective survival. 1 person's heart can save 3 lives. 1 liver can save 2. It's efficient. It's murder, I say. It's triage. The 2 surgical masks move closer, flanking us. One of them has a medical bag. The other has zip ties. Noemi's arrow tracks the plague suit's center mass. If you take 1 more step, I put this through your lung. And then my colleagues shoot you, the plague suit replies. And we take him anyway. So really, the question is, do you want to die for a stranger you met 20 minutes ago? She doesn't answer, but she doesn't lower the bow either. The plague suit sighs. Fine. Counteroffer. You come with him, voluntarily. We treat his hand, run a few tests, and if you're both still alive in 48 hours, we let you go. The Surgeon General's a reasonable man. He understands the value of good PR. PR, Noemi repeats flatly. Hearts and minds, the plague suit says. Can't run a sustainable operation if everyone thinks you're a butcher. I glance at Noemi, her jaws set, eyes locked on the target. I can see the math running behind them. 3 armed custodians, 2 of us, 1 exit, and a greenhouse full of spore mines that'll light up the second someone fires a weapon. We're not getting out of this clean. Unless... I'll go, I say. Noemi's head snaps toward me. What? I'll go, voluntarily. You stay here. That's not. One condition, I cut in, looking at the plague suit. You take me to your facility. I give you the blood sample, but she walks. Right now. No zip ties, no tests. She's not part of this. The plague suit considers. And if we agree, then I don't fight. You get what you want. Clean. Easy. Apostolos, Noemi starts, but I raise my good hand. It's fine. I say, I'm dead anyway if this goes septic. She's staring at me like I'm insane. Maybe I am. But the alternative is a firefight in a spore field, and that's a losing play for everyone. The plague suit nods slowly. Deal. She walks. You come quietly. No, Noemi says. Noemi, shut up. She lowers the bow, but only slightly. If he's going, I'm going. Same deal. 48 hours, then we both walk. Or you shoot me now and lose your medic. The plague suit tilts his head. You're not a medic. I stitched his hand. Like you said, that makes me close enough. She slings the bow over her shoulder, raises her hands. So what's it going to be? Do you want cooperation, or do you want a bloodbath that wakes every carrier in a 3-mile radius? The surgical masks exchange glances. The plague suit is silent for a long moment. Then he laughs. It's a dry, brittle sound. Fine. You're both stubborn idiots, but fine. 48 hours. After that, if the Surgeon General wants to keep you, that's between you and him. Deal, Noemi says. One of the surgical masks steps forward with the zip ties. Noemi turns, lets him bind her wrists. I do the same. The plastic digs into my skin, tight enough to cut circulation. The plague suit gestures toward the east wall. There's a transport waiting outside. Don't try anything stupid. We're led through the greenhouse, past the spore mines, out into the gray morning light. The transport's a retrofitted ambulance, white, sterile, with blacked-out windows. The back doors are open. Inside I can see restraints bolted to the floor. Noemi climbs in first. I follow. The doors slam shut behind us. It's dark. The engine starts. The ambulance lurches forward. You're an idiot, Noemi says. You came with me, I point out, because you would have gotten yourself harvested in the first hour. Appreciate the vote of confidence. She shifts in the darkness. I hear fabric rustling. Then something small and metallic presses into my bound hands. A blade. Ceramic. Matte black. Took it off the surgical mask while he was tying me up, she whispers. When we get there, we go for the cadaver chute. It's how they dispose of the bodies. Leads outside. If we're fast, we can make it before they lock us in. And the map fragments? Still inside the greenhouse. Hidden under the potting table. You're saying we have to come back. I'm saying if we're doing this, we do it right. She presses something else into my hand. Paper. I memorized the battery codes while I was stitching your hand. Wrote them down while you were getting bandaged. Frequency, authentication phrase, access tunnel. Everything. I stare at the paper in the dark. You memorized them? I was a medical student. Memorization's the job. You talked through the fragments while you were in pain. Something about prime numbers and coordinates. That's weird. I know. She leans back against the wall. 48 hours. We get treated, we get out, we get the map, and then we figure out if the battery's worth dying for. And if it's not, then at least we tried. The ambulance hits a pothole, jolting us both. My hand throbs. Noemi's cigarette smoke still clings to my jacket, a reminder that debt and trust are starting to blur together, and I'm not sure which one scares me more. Chapter 4. Stitch and Counterstitch. The facility is underground. We know this because the ambulance tilts sharply downward, and the engine noise echoes off concrete walls. The descent takes maybe 3 minutes, long enough for me to realize we're going deep. Deep enough that screaming won't matter. The ambulance stops, the back doors open, fluorescent light floods in, harsh, clinical, the kind that makes you feel exposed. A surgical mask gestures us out. Welcome to Soteria, he says. You'll be processed in Block C. Medical evaluation first, then assignment. Assignment? Noemi asks. Work detail, he clarifies. Everyone contributes. That's how we survive. The facility's bigger than I expected. Hallways branch off in multiple directions, each lined with numbered doors. Some are labeled transfusion, organ prep, recovery. Others are unmarked. We're led to Block C, a sterile room with 2 examination tables, an EKG machine, and a wall of surgical instruments behind glass. A woman in a white coat is waiting. She's older, maybe 50, with gray hair pulled into a tight bun. Her eyes are tired. "I'm Dr. Varga," she says. "You're the B negative?" "Apostolos," I say. That's not what I asked. "Yeah, I'm B negative." She makes a note on a clipboard. "And you?" "Noemi. No blood type on record." "We'll fix that." Dr. Varga gestures to the tables. "Lie down, both of you. This won't take long." We comply. The surgical masks secure our wrists to the table rails with leather straps. Not zip ties this time, something stronger. I test the restraint. No give. Dr. Varga approaches with a syringe. "This is a mild sedative. You'll stay conscious, but you won't move. Makes the blood draw easier." "I thought we had 48 hours, I say. "You do. This is just the intake process." She injects me first. The sedative hits fast, warmth spreading up my arm, followed by a heavy, sluggish feeling. My limbs go slack. I can still see, still hear, but my body's not responding. Noemi's next. I watch her jaw clench as the needle goes in. "Relax," Dr. Varga says. "Fighting it just makes it worse." She draws blood from both of us, 2 vials each. Then she takes my injured hand, unwraps the gauze, examines the stitches. "Who did this?" she asks. I did, Noemi says. "Not bad, but you missed an artery fragment. It's why he's still bleeding." She pulls out a scalpel. "I'll fix it. Hold still." The scalpel's cold. I feel pressure, then a sharp sting. She's cutting into the wound, deeper than before. I can't move, can't protest. Just have to lie here and let her work. "There," she says, pulling something out with forceps, a small dark thread. "Severed artery. Would have gone necrotic in another day." She stitches it closed, rebandages the hand. "You're lucky, another hour and you'd have lost more than a finger." She steps back, removes her gloves. "Blood results will be ready in an hour. Until then, you're assigned to recovery block. Get some rest. You'll need it." The surgical masks release us from the tables. My legs barely hold me. Noemi's the same, stumbling, unsteady. We're led down another hallway through a door labeled Recovery. Inside, there are rows of cots. Most are empty, but a few have occupants, people with bandages, IVs, hollow eyes. They don't look at us. "Sleep," the surgical mask says. "Dinner's at 6. The door closes, locks from the outside. Noemi sits on the nearest cot. "This is bad. Could be worse." "How?" "They could have started harvesting already." "Give them time." I sit beside her, the sedative's wearing off, but I'm still sluggish. My hand throbs. "You really memorized the battery codes?" She reaches into her boot, pulls out a folded paper. "Frequency, authentication phrase, tunnel access, wrote it down after you recited the fragments during the suture. You were counting primes and rattling off coordinates. I transcribed what I could." "Why?" "Because if we're doing this, we do it right." She tucks the paper back. "And because I saw your face when you burned the map, you regretted it." "I didn't. You did. You just didn't want to admit it." She's right, I did regret it. Still do. The idea that the battery might be real, that there might be a way out, it's too tempting to ignore, even if it's probably a lie. "We need to get out of here," I say, obviously. "Tonight, before they run the blood tests." "How?" I glance around the room. There's a vent in the ceiling, too small to fit through. The door's reinforced, no windows. The only other exit is the cadaver chute, Noemi says, following my gaze. There's a metal hatch in the far corner, labeled disposal. It's locked, but the lock's old, mechanical, something I can pick if I had the tools. "Your knife," I say, "the ceramic one." She pulls it out, hands it to me. "What's the plan?" "We wait until lights out, then we go through the chute, follow it to the outside, and run. And if the chute's full of bodies, then we climb over them." She stares at me. "You're serious. You have a better idea?" She doesn't. We wait. Hours pass. Dinner comes, gray protein paste and stale bread. We eat it anyway. Need the energy. At 10, the lights go out. The facility goes quiet. We move the lock on the cadaver chute is simple, a pin tumbler, 3 pins. I use the ceramic knife to tension it, then work the pins one at a time. It takes 5 minutes. 5 long, agonizing minutes where every sound feels like an alarm. Then, click. The hatch swings open. Inside there's a steep metal slide, slick with something I don't want to think about. At the bottom, darkness. You first, Noemi whispers. Ladies first. Chivalry's dead. So are we if we don't move. She grabs my shoulder. Together. Together. We climb into the chute. Slide down. The descent's fast, disorienting. I hit the bottom hard, roll into something soft and cold. A body. I scramble up. There are more. Maybe a dozen, piled in the chute's collection chamber. Some are fresh, others aren't. Noemi lands beside me, gags. Oh God. Don't stop. Move. We climb over the bodies, heading toward a thin line of light at the far end. It's an exit. A grated door leading outside. I kick it open. Fresh air. Cold, clean. We stumble out into an alley. Above, I can see stars. Real stars, not the fluorescent imitations of the underground facility. Behind us, an alarm starts blaring. Run, Noemi says. We run. The codes are in Noemi's boot, transcribed from my pain-addled recitation during the suture, not stolen from fragments we left behind. We're alive, and that's what counts. We don't stop running until the alarm fades into the distance. When we finally collapse against a chain-link fence, Noemi pulls out the folded paper and hands it to me. The battery coordinates are clear. Frequency, 7-7-9 kilohertz. Authentication phrase, Soteria breach. Ironic. The paper is blood-stained, torn, but legible. And now, for better or worse, we're committed to the journey. Chapter 5, Cartography of Scars. We make it 6 miles before Noemi admits she can't read the map in the dark. I need light, she says, just for a minute. Enough to orient us. Light attracts carriers, I know. We've got maybe 3 hours until dawn. If we wait, we'll be lost, and if we're lost, we're dead anyway. She's right. We've been navigating by guesswork since we left the facility, sticking to drainage ditches and service roads. But the terrain's unfamiliar, and every wrong turn costs us time we don't have. Fine, I say. 1 minute, no more. I pull out a pen light from my pack, small, dim, the kind that barely qualifies as a light source. But in this world, barely is enough to wake the dead. Noemi kneels, spreads the map fragments on the ground. The battery coordinates are clear, but the route's a mess. Half the roads are burned away, and the parts that remain don't connect. We need to reconstruct it, she says. Match the fragments, fill in the gaps. How? She pulls out a pen, hesitates. You're back. What? The map's too fragile. If we keep unfolding it, it'll disintegrate. But if I draw it on your back, permanent ink, something we can reference without damaging the original, you want to tattoo me. I want to not lose the only navigation tool we have. She pulls out a small vial from her jacket, berry ink, mixed with ash. It'll last a few weeks, long enough to reach the battery. I stare at her. You're serious. Do you have a better idea? I don't. I peel off my jacket, lift my shirt, the cold air hits my skin, and I'm suddenly aware of how exposed this is. Not the physical exposure, the vulnerability. Letting someone mark me permanently is a level of trust I haven't given anyone since the world ended. Hold still, Noemi says. She dips the pen in the berry ink, starts drawing. The first line's tentative, testing. Then she gains confidence, and the lines become surer. I feel the pen scratch across my shoulder blades down my spine. It stings, but it's bearable. You've done this before, I say. My brother loved maps. Used to draw them on everything, walls, floors, his own arms. I learned by watching. What happened to him? Her hand pauses. He got infected, tried to reach the battery, thought if he could just get to the radio tower, they'd evacuate him, take him somewhere with a cure. And he never made it. Custodians got him first. Her voice goes flat. Harvested him while he was still conscious. The pen resumes moving. I don't ask more questions. She works in silence for 10 minutes, maybe 15. Then she stops, wipes the pen clean. Done. Let me check something. She studies my back in the dim light. Your blood type, B negative, same as the medical chart they had at the facility. So, she's quiet for a moment. Then, my brother was B negative too. The words hang in the cold air. That's why you helped me, I say. In the greenhouse. You saw my blood type and... No. She cuts me off, but there's no conviction in it. I helped you because you needed help. You're lying. Maybe. She caps the vial of berry ink, tucks it away. Or maybe I just wanted to see if you'd survive long enough to be worth the cigarette. She stands, shoulders her pack. We should move. Dawn's close. We walk in silence. The map on my back itches, but I don't scratch. Don't want to smudge it before it dries. An hour later, we hear them. Children. High-pitched laughter echoing through the trees. Noemi freezes. That's not right. What? Children don't laugh anymore. Not out here. She's right. The sound's wrong. Too bright, too carefree, like a recording played through broken speakers. It's a lure, I say, bioluminescent fungi. Feral kids use it to attract prey. She unslings her bow. They'll surround us, use the light to wake nearby carriers, then scavenge what's left. How many? Usually 5 or 6. But if we're unlucky... The laughter stops. Then movement in the underbrush. Fast, coordinated. They come from 3 directions at once. Not children. Teenagers maybe, but feral enough that the distinction doesn't matter. Their skin's smeared with fungal paste that glows faint blue in the dark. In their hands, makeshift weapons. Sharpened rebar, broken glass tied to sticks. The leader, a girl maybe 16, steps forward. In her hand, a jar full of bioluminescent fungi. Glowing. Pulsing. Give us the horse, she says. We don't have a horse, Noemi replies. The girl tilts her head. You did. 2 hours ago. We tracked you from the ridge. I glance at Noemi. She's pale. We lost it, I say. Carriers spooked it. Ran off with our water supply. The girl considers this, then she smashes the jar on the ground. The fungi scatter, glowing brighter now that they're exposed to air. The light spreads across the clearing. Blue-white, artificial, wrong. In the distance, a howl. Carriers. Waking up. Run, the girl says. Then she and her group vanish into the trees. Noemi grabs my arm. Move. Now. We run. Behind us, the howling grows louder, closer. The carriers are drawn to the light like moths, and we're caught between them and the feral kids who set the trap. My lungs burn, my hand throbs, the map on my back feels like it's on fire. We clear the tree line, hit a service road. Ahead, an overturned semi-truck, rusted and gutted. Noemi points to it. Climb! We scramble up the side onto the roof. Below, carriers pour out of the woods, dozens of them, eyes vacant, mouths open. They swarm the glowing fungi, confused, drawn by the light, but unable to find living prey. We're hidden in shadow, safe, for now. Noemi's breathing hard. The horse. I know. We needed that water. I know. She looks at me, and there's something in her eyes, a calculation, like she's weighing my value against the resources we just lost. Your blood type, she says quietly. B negative, same as my brother. You said that already? I'm using you. The words come out flat. As a replacement, keeping you alive because it feels like keeping him alive. That's not fair to you. Probably not. But I'm doing it anyway. Below, the carriers are dispersing. The light's fading. We've got maybe an hour before they return to their stasis. I don't care, I say. You should. But I don't. I shift, careful not to disturb the fresh ink on my back. We're both using each other. You need the map. I need the medical knowledge. That's how this works. She studies me. You really believe that? Has to be true. Otherwise, we're just 2 idiots walking toward a grave. She almost smiles. Almost. Yeah, that sounds about right. We climb down as the last of the light fades, leaving the dead horse behind and the dehydration clock ticking in our heads. Chapter 6. Choir of Static. The church tower appears at dawn. It's leaning, half collapsed, but the antenna's still intact, blinking red against the gray sky. Red means custodian tech. Noemi sees it the same time I do. We should avoid it. We need intel, I say. If there's a working radio, we can intercept transmissions, learn if the battery's still active. Or we can get spotted by the drone network and have a kill team on us in 6 hours. Calculated risk. Suicidal risk. You have 3 cigarettes left, I point out. We're out of water. We haven't eaten in 18 hours. We need information more than we need caution. She's quiet, jaw working. Then, fine, but we're in and out. 5 minutes, no longer. We approach the church from the west using rubble for cover. The front doors are blown off their hinges. Inside, pews are overturned, hymnals scattered. There's a smell, old rot, mildew, something chemical. The radio's in the bell tower. We climb the stairs, creaking, unstable, and find it sitting on a makeshift table. Ham radio, military grade, with a solar battery pack still functional. I power it on. Static fills the air. Noemi keeps watch at the window while I scan frequencies. Most are dead. Some have automated loops, weather reports from 3 years ago, evacuation orders that no one followed. Then I hit 7 to 7.9 kilohertz. A voice crackles through. Repeat. Battery station Soteria is operational. Evacuation protocols active. All survivors with authentication codes proceed to North Ridge access. Transport departs at 600 hours. This message will repeat. My stomach drops. It's real. I say the battery's real. Noemi turns. What? Listen. She crosses to the radio. We stand there, listening to the message loop 3 more times. Same words. Same mechanical cadence. It's bait, Noemi says finally. You don't know that. Yes, I do. That message is identical to the one my brother heard, word for word. They've been broadcasting it for months. Maybe the evacuation's still happening. It's not. She reaches past me, adjusts the frequency dial. Listen to this. She tunes to a different channel. This one's clearer. A man's voice, smooth and authoritative. Custodian forces have secured battery station Soteria. All incoming survivors will be processed for organ compatibility. Priority targets, B negative, O negative, AB positive. The Surgeon General thanks you for your contribution to collective survival. Do not resist. Resistance results in premature harvest. The message cuts off. Loops back to the beginning. Noemi looks at me. Still think it's real? I stare at the radio. The evacuation message, the custodian propaganda, both on the same tower, broadcasting to anyone desperate enough to believe in rescue. It's a trap, I say quietly. Yeah. But the tower exists. The equipment's functional. If we can reach it, we what? Walk in and ask nicely for a ride? We destroy it. She blinks. What? The tower. We sabotage it. Cut the broadcast. Stop them from luring more people in. That's insane. Probably. I turn off the radio, but if we don't, how many more people die thinking they're being rescued? Noemi's silent for a long moment. Then she pulls out a cigarette, lights it with a match, takes a long drag. You realize this changes everything, she says. I know. We're not going to the battery for evacuation. We're going to destroy it. Yeah. And if we do this, the custodians will hunt us. Forever. No going back. I know. She passes me the cigarette. I take it. Inhale. The smoke tastes like ash and bad decisions. Why? She asks. Why do you care? You burned the map. You told me you didn't believe in rescue. So why does this matter? I hand the cigarette back because I'm tired of running. Tired of surviving just to survive. If I'm going to die out here, I want it to mean something. Destroying a radio tower isn't going to save the world. No, but it might save the next person who hears that broadcast. She studies me, cigarette smoke curling between us. Then she nods. Okay. We destroy the tower. She crushes the cigarette under her boot. But we do it smart. No suicide runs. We plan, we prepare, and we don't die stupid. Deal. Below, something moves. We both freeze. Carriers, dozens of them, drawn by the antenna's blinking red light. They're circling the church, drawn by the broadcast signal like the fungal lures from last night. The tower shakes, old stone groaning under the weight of accumulated damage. We need to leave, Noemi says. Now. We descend fast, avoiding the main floor, take a side exit through the vestry. Outside, the carriers are thick, but they're focused on the tower. We slip past, moving through shadows, keeping low. 2 blocks away, we stop to catch our breath. Noemi pulls out the battery coordinates. North Ridge access, panel 4. That's the service entrance. How do you know? My brother's notebook. He wrote everything down. She looks up. He knew it was a trap. Went anyway. Thought if he could just reach the tower, he could shut it down before anyone else got lured in. What happened? Custodians caught him before he made it inside. Used his heart for their eternal pump prototype. Her voice is steady, but her hands aren't. They keep the hearts in nutrient baths, label them with the donor's last words. His said, "I'm sorry." She folds the coordinates, tucks them away. So yeah, we're doing this. For him, for everyone they've harvested, for every desperate idiot who still thinks rescue is coming. The tower behind us groans again. This time, part of it collapses. The antenna tilts but stays upright, still blinking red against the morning sky. We turn our backs on it and keep walking north. The new goal sits heavy in our chests, and neither of us mentions that we're now committed to something that will probably end us both. Chapter 7. The Organ Song. We're 3 days north when they catch me. Not us. Me. Noemi's out scavenging, looking for food in an abandoned strip mall when the custodian scout steps out of the medical tent. He's alone, which should have been my first warning. They never travel alone. Apostolos, he says. B negative, 6'1", missing distal phalanx, left ring finger, distinctive ink work on back depicting cartographic fragments. He's reading from a tablet, my file. You've been busy, I say, hand moving toward my knife. Don't. He raises a tranq pistol. Your friend's being watched. Anything happens to me, she gets a dart in the neck and wakes up on a harvest table. I freeze. Smart, he says. Now, let's talk. The Surgeon General is very interested in you, specifically your blood type. B negative's rare, useful, the kind of resource that keeps the Eternal Heart program running. I'm not a resource. Everyone's a resource. He gestures to a folding chair behind me. Sit. This won't take long. I don't sit. What do you want? Cooperation. Voluntary donation. 1 pint today, another next week. In exchange, we provide food, water, medical care. You and your friend get to keep breathing. Until you need a kidney. Exactly. He smiles. See? You understand how this works. Most people don't. They fight, they resist, they make it messy. But you're smart, you know the math. 1 person's organs can save 5 lives. It's efficient. It's murder. It's triage. Same thing you got discharged for, isn't it? He checks the tablet. Punching your CO because he prioritized officers. You were trying to save lives. So are we. By harvesting people, by making hard choices. He lowers the pistol slightly. The world ended, Apostolos. The old rules don't apply. Survival demands sacrifice. Your CO knew that. The Surgeon General knows that. The only question is, do you? Behind him, I see movement. Noemi crouched behind a rusted van, bow drawn. She has a clear shot, but if she takes it, the others will hear. And if they hear, we're both dead. I meet her eyes, shake my head slightly. You're right, I say to the scout. I understand the math. He relaxes. Good. Then we have a deal? No. His expression shifts. No, I understand the math, I just don't agree with it. I pull the ceramic knife from my belt, cut the zip tie restraint on the folding chair, and toss it at him. People aren't commodities, and the second you treat them like spare parts, you stop being human. The scout stares at me, then he laughs. You're gonna die out here, you know that, right? You and your friend, you'll starve or get infected or get torn apart by carriers. And when you're bleeding out in some ditch, you'll wish you'd taken the deal. Maybe. But at least I'll die human. I turn to walk away. He shoots me. The dart hits my shoulder, and the world tilts. I drop to one knee, trying to stay conscious. Can't. The sedative's too strong. The last thing I see before I black out is Noemi's face, furious and terrified, as she's dragged from behind the van by 2 more custodians I didn't see coming. I wake up strapped to an operating table. The room's white, sterile, smells like disinfectant and something metallic. Above me, surgical lights. To my left, a heart monitor beeping steadily. I try to move. Can't. Leather restraints on my wrists, ankles, chest, tight enough to bruise. You're awake, a voice says. Good. This works better if you're conscious. A man steps into view. Late 40s, graying hair, surgical mask pulled down around his neck. His eyes are sharp, calculating. I'm Surgeon General Voss, he says. And you're my new favorite patient. Where's Noemi? The medic? She's fine. Convinced us to delay your extraction by offering her services. Clever woman. Bought you 6 hours. He pulls up a stool. Sits. But 6 hours is up, and I'm afraid I need your blood. Take it and get it over with. Oh, I will. But first I want to make you an offer. He leans forward. Join us. Voluntarily. Help run the harvest program. You're B negative, rare, valuable. With your blood, we can save dozens of lives, extend them indefinitely. You'd be doing more good here than you ever did running around in the wasteland. I'd be a slave. You'd be a savior. He pulls out a scalpel, holds it to the light. Think about it. Every pint you donate saves 3 people. Every organ, 5. You could live here, comfortable, well-fed, knowing that your sacrifice means something. It means you get to play God. Someone has to. He sets the scalpel down, pulls out a tablet. Let me show you something. He swipes through images. Hearts in glass containers, livers, kidneys, each one labeled with a name, a date, a final word. These people died so others could live, Voss says. That's not evil, that's survival. They didn't choose it. Most people don't know what they want until someone decides for them. He closes the tablet. So here's my offer. Give me 1 pint now, voluntarily, and I'll let you walk, you and the medic. No strings attached. And next month, we'll revisit the arrangement. No, Voss sighs. I was hoping you'd say yes. It's so much cleaner that way. He stands, picks up the scalpel. But if you won't give voluntarily, I'll take involuntarily, starting with a pint. Then, when your friend can't negotiate anymore, I'll take a kidney. Then the other kidney. Then your liver. Everything useful. He positions the scalpel over my inner arm. Any last words? I think about my mother's voicemail, the 3 messages I've saved, the ones I'll never hear again if I die here. Yeah, I say. Just a man. Voss pauses. What? I'm just a man. Not a commodity. Not a savior. Not a resource. Just a man. He stares at me for a long moment, then he laughs, dry, bitter. You're wasting your humanity on pride. Better than wasting it on your harvest line. He raises the scalpel. The door slams open. Noemi's there, holding a syringe. Behind her 2 custodians on the floor, unconscious. She's breathing hard, eyes wild. Step back, she says. Voss doesn't move. You can't save him. Watch me. She lunges. He deflects, but she's faster. The syringe plunges into his shoulder. He gasps, stumbles back. Sedative. Same one you used on us. Should keep you down for 6 hours. She cuts my restraints. I sit up, dizzy but functional. Can you walk? She asks. Yeah, then run. We run. Behind us, alarms, shouting, the sound of boots on tile, but we're already gone, out the emergency exit hit the ride, into the wasteland where the custodians can't follow without risking carriers. We don't stop until the facility's out of sight. When we finally collapse against a chain-link fence, Noemi hands me something. A medical chart, mine, stamped Target B-Neg, Priority High, Capture Alive. They're hunting you specifically now, she says, not just random harvest, your premium stock. I crumple the paper. Great. Yeah, she lights a cigarette, her second to last one, takes a drag, passes it to me. So, still want to destroy that tower? I take the cigarette, inhale. The smoke tastes like freedom, more than ever. Chapter 8, Rusted Lullaby. We find the music box in a ransacked pharmacy, buried under overturned shelves. It's small, tin, with a hand crank on the side. The paint's chipped, but when Noemi winds it, the melody still plays. Somewhere over the rainbow. Tinny and off-key, but recognizable. She stops cranking. My brother had one like this. Different song, same mechanism. Used to play it when he couldn't sleep. What happened to it? Traded it for antibiotics 2 years ago. Regretted it ever since. She pockets the music box. This is worth keeping. For trade? For me. We're holed up in the pharmacy's back room, waiting out the afternoon heat. Carriers don't like extreme temperatures, makes them sluggish, easier to avoid. So we rest during the day, move at night. Noemi's rationing the last of our food, crackers so stale they crumble when you touch them. We eat them anyway. We need water, she says, and we're not getting it without crossing that bridge. She's talking about the river bridge 3 miles north. Rusted metal spanning 200 feet. It's the only crossing for 30 miles, and it's rigged. Tannin bombs? I ask. Probably. Custodians use them to control access points. One wrong step and the whole structure turns to dust in minutes. We find another way. There is no other way. Not unless you want to add a week to our route, and we don't have a week. She pulls out her canteen, shakes it. Empty. We've got maybe 12 hours before dehydration starts shutting down organs. Then we cross the bridge, and if it collapses, we swim. There are carriers in the water, floaters, the ones that drowned but didn't fully turn. They'll grab anything that moves. Then we don't let them grab us. She looks at me like I'm insane. Maybe I am, but the alternative is dying of thirst, and that's not an option. We reach the bridge at dusk. It's worse than I expected. Rust holes big as fists, guardrails missing, support cables frayed. Below, the river's dark and slow-moving. There, Noemi says, pointing. I see them. Small metal canisters attached to the support beams. Tannin bombs, just like she said, triggered by pressure sensors on the deck. We need to disarm them, I say, or avoid them. How? She studies the bridge, calculating. The sensors are on the deck, but if we go under, use the support beams, we can bypass the pressure plates entirely. That's a 200-foot crawl on rusted metal. You have a better idea? I don't. We climb down to the riverbank, wade into shallow water. The current's cold, tugging at our legs. Below the surface I see shapes. Movement. The floaters. We reach the first support beam and pull ourselves up. The metal's slick, corroded. My hand throbs where the stitches pull tight. Don't look down, Noemi whispers. I look down anyway. The floaters are circling now, drawn by our movement. Pale faces, bloated bodies, arms reaching up. We crawl, one handhold at a time. The beam's narrow, maybe 6 inches across, and every shift in weight makes it groan. Halfway across, I hear it. A sharp crack. Move, Noemi says. Now. We scramble forward. Behind us, the beam separates from its mounting, swings free. We're hanging by one support now, and it's not going to hold. Jump, Noemi shouts. We jump, hit the water hard. The current grabs us, pulls us downstream. I kick toward the surface, break through, gasp for air. Noemi's beside me, swimming hard. Behind us, the floaters are closing in. We make it to the far bank, drag ourselves out. The bridge is still standing, barely, but the tannin bombs are untriggered. We made it without collapsing the structure. Noemi collapses on the mud, breathing hard. She pulls out the music box, checks it, still works. She winds it and the melody plays, faint, determined, absurd. Why do you keep that? I ask. Because I'm terrified of silence. The words come out flat, honest. If it's quiet, I start thinking. And if I start thinking, I remember my brother. And if I remember my brother, she doesn't finish. I pull out my cracked Nokia, power it on. 3% battery. I navigate to voicemails, let it play for 5 seconds. Hey baby, I know you're deployed. I shut it off. Your mom? Noemi asks. Yeah. She's dead? Yeah. How? Gunshot. Heard it through the phone. Couldn't do anything. I pocket the Nokia. I still answer the voicemail sometimes, like she's going to pick up and tell me it was all a joke. Noemi winds the music box again. The melody loops, filling the silence between us. We're both haunted, she says. Seems like, but at least we're haunted together. That's supposed to be comforting? No, but it's true. We sit there listening to the music box until it winds down. Then we pack up and keep moving, because stopping means thinking, and thinking means remembering, and neither of us can afford that right now. The Nokia sits in my pocket, 3 voicemails saved, battery dying. The music box sits in Noemi's pack, a fragile promise that silence won't win. Chapter 9. Ember Ledger. The barge appears at dawn, drifting downriver with no visible crew. It's a cargo flatboat, rusted but functional, with supply crates lashed to the deck. That's convenient, Noemi says. Too convenient, I agree. We watch from the tree line as the barge drifts closer. No movement on deck, no sign of life, just the slow current carrying it south. Could be abandoned, Noemi suggests, or bait. Either way we transport. Walking's too slow, and we're running out of time. She's right. We've been traveling for 8 days, and the battery's still 100 miles north. At our current pace, we'll reach it in 3 weeks. By then, the custodian kill teams will have caught up. We board, I say, but carefully. We wade into the shallows, grab the barge's mooring line as it drifts past, pull ourselves up. The deck's slick with algae and something darker. Old stains. The crates are locked, but I can hear things shifting inside. Noemi checks the wheelhouse. No one here. Someone's watching, I say. They wouldn't leave cargo unattended. As if on cue, 3 figures emerge from below decks. River traders, by the look of them, armed with machetes, faces hard. The leader's a woman, maybe 40, with a scar bisecting her left cheek. She looks us over, assessing value. "This is a toll barge," she says. "You want passage, you pay." "We don't have money," Noemi replies. "Then you don't have passage." She gestures to the machetes. "Off, now." "Wait," I say. "We've got other things, supplies, medicine." "Show me." I pull out the medical kit Noemi's been carrying, the one she took from the custodian facility. It's still half full. Gauze, antibiotics, antiseptic. The woman examines it, nods. "This covers 1 day. What else?" "That's all we have." "Then you get 1 day." She points north. "Barge stops at the next trading post. You disembark there. We need to go farther north. Then bring more supplies." Noemi steps forward. "What about barter? We work, you extend passage." The woman considers. "What can you do?" "I'm a medic." "He's got military training. We can pull our weight." "Can you cook?" "Yes." "Can you fight?" "If we have to." The woman looks us over again, then nods. "Fine. But you eat our rations. You pay double. Food's scarce this season." She walks away, and we're left standing on the deck, committed to a bargain we can't afford. That night, we're given meal portions. Thin soup, half a protein bar each. It's not enough. My stomach's cramping, but I don't complain. Noemi's staring at the music box again. She hasn't wound it since the river crossing. "You should trade it," I say. "No. It's worth food, maybe 2 days' worth." I said no. "Noemi, it's not for trade." She tucks it back in her pack. "Some things are worth more than survival." At dawn, we reach a trading post, a floating platform anchored to the riverbank. The woman tells us this is where we disembark unless we can pay for extended passage. "How much?" I ask. "Half your remaining supplies. We have 1 medical kit, 1 knife, and a cracked Nokia with 2% battery. That's it." Noemi pulls out the music box. "This." "Noemi, it's fine." She hands it to the woman. "Wind it. You'll see it's functional." The woman winds the crank. Somewhere Over the Rainbow plays, tinny and fragile. She listens for 5 seconds, then stops. "Deal," she says. She takes the music box, tosses it to one of her crew. He catches it, examines it, then, without ceremony, smashes it against the deck railing. Gears and springs scatter across the wood. "Needed parts for the bilge pump," the woman explains. Music box gears fit perfectly. Noemi's face goes blank. I see her hand drift to her knife, see the calculation behind her eyes. 1 quick movement and the woman's dead. I grab her wrist. "Don't." I know. The woman's watching us. "Problem?" "No," I say. "No problem." We disembark at the next post. The barge drifts away and Noemi stands on the dock, staring at the water. "She destroyed it," Noemi says quietly. "Didn't even hesitate." I know. It wasn't just a music box. It was... I know. She's shaking, not from cold, from rage. I wanted to hurt her, but you didn't, because you stopped me. Yeah. She looks at me. What if I'm becoming like them, the custodians, the traders? What if I'm just one bad decision away from treating people like commodities? You're not. You don't know that. I do. I step closer. Because you're still asking the question. Type the second you stop asking, that's when you've crossed the line. She's quiet for a long moment. Then she shoulders her pack, starts walking north. I follow. Behind us, the barge disappears downriver, carrying the broken pieces of something irreplaceable. And ahead, the battery waits, promising either salvation or the final confirmation that sentiment has no place in this world. Chapter 10. Point of No Return Ravine. The signs, carved into a tree trunk, Letters burned deep. Turn back. Battery equals grave. We've been seeing them for the last 3 miles. Different trees, same message. Someone wanted to make sure the warning was clear. Previous travelers, Noemi says, the ones who made it this far, and turned back, or died trying to go forward. Below us, a ravine cuts through the landscape, 200 feet deep, sheer rock walls on both sides. There's a rope bridge spanning the gap, old but intact. That's the only crossing, Noemi says. Next bridge is 40 miles east. So we cross, and if the bridge fails, we don't fall. She walks to the tree with the warning sign, runs her fingers over the burned letters. Someone carved this for a reason. They wanted people to know, or they wanted people to give up. Maybe they were right to give up. I pull out the lighter from my pack, spark it to life, hold the flame to the base of the sign. What are you doing? Noemi asks, erasing the exit. The wood catches, flames crawling up the trunk. The letters blacken, curl, disappear. Within minutes, the warning's gone. We can't go back anyway, I say. Custodians are tracking us. Every hour we delay, they get closer. Forward's the only direction left. Noemi watches the sign burn. You're committing us. Yeah, no retreat, no changing our minds. That's the idea. She's quiet then. If we die together? The question hangs in the air. It's not romantic. It's practical. A pact made between two people who've run out of alternatives. Yeah, I say. Together. Okay. She extends her hand. Shake on it. I take her hand. Her grip's firm, calloused. We shake once, and the deal's made. No going back now. We approach the rope bridge. It's old. Frayed cables, wooden slats missing, the whole structure swaying in the wind. Below, darkness. The ravine bottom's too deep to see. I'll go first, I say. Test the weight. No, I'm lighter. If it's going to fail, better to know before you're halfway across. She's right, but I don't like it. She steps onto the first slat. It creaks but holds. She takes another step, then another. 10 feet out, she stops. It's stable, she calls back. But the left cable's fraying. Stay to the right side. I follow. The bridge sways with each step, but it's holding. Halfway across, I glance down. Big mistake. The darkness seems to pull at me, and my vision swims. Don't look down, Noemi says. Little late for that. We're 3/4 across when I hear it. A low, guttural moan. Carriers, on the far side of the ravine drawn by our movement. Keep moving, Noemi says. We're almost there. But the carriers are faster. They reach the bridge's far end just as we do, and suddenly we're trapped. 5 carriers between us and solid ground. The bridge groans under the added weight. We have to go back, Noemi says. There are more behind us. She looks. She's right. Carriers are filling the near side too, drawn by the vibrations. The bridge is sagging now, cables stretching. We've got maybe 30 seconds before the whole thing collapses. Cut it, I say. What? Cut the bridge. Strand them. It's the only way. We'll strand ourselves too. No retreat, remember? I pull out the ceramic knife. We jump to the far side, cut the cables, and let the bridge drop. It'll take the carriers with it. And if we don't make the jump, then the pact holds. She stares at me, then nods. Okay, on 3. 1. The carriers are 5 feet away, hands reaching. 2. The left cable snaps. The bridge tilts violently. 3. We run. Full sprint across the tilting slats, the bridge collapsing beneath us. I hit the far edge, grab rock, pull myself up. Noemi's behind me, hand extended. I grab her wrist, haul her up. She pulls the knife, saws through the right cable. It parts with a sharp twang, and the bridge drops away, taking a dozen carriers with it. They fall silently, consumed by darkness. We collapse on the ledge, breathing hard. Below, the ravine's quiet again. No screams, no impact sounds, just empty air where our escape route used to be. We did it, Noemi says. Yeah. No going back. No. She looks at me. You realize what we just did? We cut off our own retreat. If the battery's a trap, if this whole thing's a mistake, we can't undo it. I know. And you're okay with that? I think about the sign I burned, the warning we ignored, the pact we made. I'm not okay with anything, I say, but I'm done surviving just to survive. If we're going forward, we commit, all in. She pulls out her second-to-last cigarette, lights it, takes a drag, passes it to me. All in, she repeats. We smoke in silence, watching the burned tree on the far side smolder. The warning's gone. The bridge is gone. The only path forward is a sheer cliff toward the distant battery, and retreat is impossible. The cigarette burns down to the filter. Noemi crushes it under her boot, and we turn our backs on the ravine, facing north toward whatever's waiting. Together, like we promised. Chapter 11. Marrow Compass. The blood comes easy now. I've opened the cut on my palm, letting it drip onto the rocks in a trail leading east while we move west. The carriers follow scent like it's a beacon, and B-negative apparently smells better than most. Noemi's watching me squeeze another drop onto a stone, her jaws tight. You're going to pass out, she says. Not yet. Apo, I said not yet. She stops walking. I keep going, counting my steps, counting the drops. Prime numbers help. 17 steps, 19, 23. The phantom ache in my missing fingertip pulses in rhythm with my heartbeat, which means I'm lying to myself about being fine. The stump always knows. Behind us, something clicks. Not the pulse compass clicking. That's in my pocket, needle dipping every few seconds to tell us we've got company within 50 meters. This is different, organic, the sound of joints that don't bend right anymore. Noemi's hand goes to her ceramic knife, the dark blade that doesn't catch light. She's good at moving quiet, better than me. I'm the one who keeps stepping on things. How many drops left? She asks. I look at my palm. The cut's deeper than I thought. Enough. That's not an answer. It's the only one I've got. The clicking gets louder. Multiple sources now, triangulating. I drop blood on another rock and Noemi grabs my wrist. Her fingers cool against my skin. She's been rationing touch since the map went on my back. Like every time she makes contact, she's calculating cost. They're too close, she says. That's the point. The point is misdirection, not suicide. I pull my wrist free and keep walking. She follows because she has to. That's the contract we've got now. Mutual need dressed up as partnership. I need her to read the ink on my back. She needs my blood type to stay focused on something that isn't her brother's face. The ozone smell hits a second before the carriers emerge from the tree line. 3 of them, maybe 4. Hard to tell in the blue-black dark. Their skin's got that paper-white glow that means they're close to waking fully, just need a spark of light to reboot. Noemi's breathing changes, gets shallow. She does this thing where she whistles under her breath when she's scared. Shenandoah, always the same song. But right now she's silent, which means she's past scared into something else. I count the carriers. 4. Definitely 4. The pulse compass in my pocket dips erratic, confirming what I already know. East, I whisper, pointing at the blood trail. They'll follow it. And if they don't, then we run. But they do. First one catches the scent, head jerking toward the rocks. The others follow, moving in that horrible synchronized way that makes them look like a single organism. They flow past us, 15 feet to our left, close enough that I can hear the wet sound of their breathing. Noemi's hand finds mine in the dark, not the clinical grip of navigation. This is different. Her palms sweating, her fingers squeeze once hard, then let go. We wait until the clicking fades east. 10 seconds. 20. The pulse compass steadies. You lose much more blood, Noemi says, and you're the one who'll need carrying. I'm fine. You said that 3 cuts ago. She's got a point, but I don't give her the satisfaction of agreeing. Instead, I wrap my palm in a strip of cloth from my pocket, used to be part of a shirt, back when shirts were things people wore instead of rationed. The cloth's already stained from previous cuts. Brown, not red. Old blood. We should keep moving, I say. West, west, west. She looks at me for a long moment, and I can see her doing the math. Blood loss plus distance plus the fact that we lost our water supply 3 days ago. The equation doesn't balance, but she nods, turns west, starts walking. I follow, counting my steps again. 29, 31. The phantom ache pulses, my palm throbs. Somewhere behind us, the carriers are following my blood east, away from the battery, away from the truth we're walking toward. Noemi glances back once, and I see her looking at the trail of blood droplets I've left, a red line on blue-black earth. Then she looks at my hand, at the stump where my ring finger used to end. She reaches out, touches the scar. Just once, barely contact, like she's confirming it's real. The pulse compass dips erratic in my pocket, needle swinging wild, and we both freeze because that means carriers nearby, closer than before, and her hand's still touching my missing finger when we realize we're not alone. Chapter 12, Lantern Laws. The dark's so complete I can't see my hand in front of my face. Noemi's breathing somewhere to my left, measured, controlled, the kind of breathing you do when panic's knocking and you're not answering the door. I reach out. Find her arm. She flinches, then relaxes. "Don't move," she whispers. Her lips are maybe 2 inches from my ear. I wasn't planning on it. The pulse compass in my pocket's doing its warning dip. That electromagnetic signature that says carriers are storing photons, getting ready to wake up if anyone's stupid enough to turn on a light. My eyes are adjusting, but there's nothing to adjust to. This isn't low light, this is absence, the kind of dark that makes you forget what sight is. Something breathes 3 feet away. Wet, rattling. I can smell it, rot and ozone and something else, something almost sweet like meat going bad in summer heat. Noemi's hand finds mine, squeezes. Not reassurance, communication. She's telling me something and I'm supposed to understand what. Another breath. Closer now, maybe 2 feet. I squeeze back, she squeezes twice. I have no idea what that means, but I squeeze 3 times because it feels like the right response, and her grip tightens like I've just said something important. The carrier moves. I hear fabric dragging on ground, that distinctive sound of clothing that's fused to skin. It's between us and wherever west is, which means we're blocked. Noemi pulls on my hand, gentle. I follow, stepping where she steps, trusting that her night vision genetic, she'd said once, something about her father's side, is better than mine. My foot comes down on something soft. Not ground. I freeze. The breathing stops. We stop. 10 seconds pass. 20. My calf muscles cramping from holding position. The phantom ache in my missing finger is screaming, which means I'm stressed, which means my heart rate's up, which means I'm burning through oxygen I can't afford to burn. The breathing starts again, moves away. Noemi tugs my hand. We move. 3 steps. 4. My shin hits something metal, sounds like a fence post, and the clang echoes louder than it should. Louder than anything has a right to in dark this thick. Every carrier in 100 feet probably heard that. Noemi's hand tightens on mine, nails digging in. Not communication this time. Fear. Real fear, the kind you can't breathe through. "Sorry," I mouth, knowing she can't see it. She pulls me forward, faster now, and I'm stumbling over terrain I can't see, trusting her completely because there's no other option. We're moving blind through a field of frozen carriers, and one accidental light source will wake dozens within arm's reach. My other hand brushes something as we pass. Fabric. Skin beneath it. Cold. I jerk away, nearly pulling Noemi off balance, but she steadies and keeps moving. The pulse compass dips again, then again. We're surrounded. She stops. I stop, her hands sweating now, slick against mine. She pulls me close, so close I can feel her breath on my neck. 16 steps, she whispers, quieter than breathing. Straight. Don't stop. I nod, realize she can't see it. Squeeze her hand once. We move. 1, 2, 3. Something brushes my shoulder. Fabric, skin, I don't know, and I keep walking. 7, 8. My foot kicks something that rolls. 10, 11. The breathing's all around us now, chorus of it, wet and wrong. 15, 16. We stop. The ground under my feet changes, packed earth to gravel. We're on some kind of path. Noemi's hand leaves mine, and the absence is worse than the dark. I reach out, find her shoulder. She's shaking. "You okay?" I whisper. "No." "Fair enough. Can you see?" "Shapes. Maybe." Which means I'm completely blind, and she's barely better. We're holding hands because it's navigation now, because that's the only way to move through dark this thick without getting separated. And if we get separated, we're alone with the carriers, and alone means over. Her hand finds mine again. This time the grip's different. Not clinical, not communication. Just contact. Just the reminder that someone else is here. We keep moving? I ask. We keep moving. She leads. I follow. We're connected, palm to palm, sweating, stumbling, blind except for her genetic advantage that barely counts as sight. My free hands out in front, feeling for obstacles and every few steps I touch something I don't want to identify. The breathing's everywhere, surrounding us, following us, staying just far enough away that I can't tell how close is too close. Noemi's whistling under her breath now. Shenandoah. So quiet I barely hear it, which means she's terrified, which means I should be too, but I'm too focused on not tripping over the invisible terrain to properly panic. How far? I whisper. Don't know. To what? Anything. The pulse compass dips hard in my pocket, needle swinging wild, and we both stop because that means carriers nearby, multiple too close, and we're standing frozen in total darkness, hands locked together, breathing synchronized, while something clicks twice in the space where our heads just were. Chapter 13. The Laughing Grave. The signs half buried in mud, letters carved deep enough to read by moonlight. Turn back. Battery equals grave. Noemi's staring at it like it might bite. I'm staring at the graves beyond it, dozens of them, maybe hundreds, all marked with the same plastic wristband. Orange. Stamped with a barcode and the battery logo. They were evacuated, Noemi says. They were promised evacuation. Same thing. Not even close. She kneels next to the nearest grave. The soil's soggy, not from rain, from decomposition. The wristband's attached to something just below the surface, an arm probably, still wearing whatever clothes it died in. I should look away. Instead, I'm counting. 43 graves visible from here, probably more deeper in. Each one a person who believed the transmission, who walked the distance, who made it all the way to the battery, and got exactly what they deserved for hoping. Noemi pulls at the wristband. It comes free with a wet sound, bringing part of the arm with it. She drops both. We should go, she says. Where? Anywhere else. But she doesn't move. Neither do I. We're standing at the edge of a mass grave, looking at proof that the battery's been harvesting people for months, maybe longer, and neither of us can figure out what to do with that information. I start laughing. Can't help it. It bubbles up from somewhere deep and comes out wrong, too loud, edges of hysteria I can't quite control. Because of course the battery's a trap. Of course the evacuation ship sailed months ago. Of course we've been walking toward our own graves like idiots. Noemi slaps me, hard. My cheek stings and the laughter cuts off mid-breath. Don't, she says. Don't what? Break. Not here. Why not here seems appropriate. She slaps me again, same spot. My eyes water. Stop it, I say. Then stop laughing. I'm not. But I am. It's coming out again. Quieter now, more like wheezing. My ribs hurt, my face hurts, everything hurts. She grabs my shirt, pulls me close, and I can see her face now, see the expression she's wearing. Not anger, terror. She's terrified I'm going to fall apart and she'll have to keep walking alone. We knew, she says. Midpoint Broadcast, remember? We already knew it was a trap. Knowing's different than seeing. No, it's not. Yes, it. She lets go of my shirt, steps back, looks at the graves. We're still going, she says. To the battery. To the battery. Why? Because the mission inverted. We're not reaching salvation. We're destroying the tower. She's reciting it like doctrine, like if she says it enough times it'll make sense. Maybe it does. Maybe I'm the one who's lost the thread. I walk to the nearest grave. The soil shifts under my boots. Too soft, too wet. I take another step and my foot sinks 3 inches. Noemi grabs my arm, pulls me back. Don't, she says. I'm fine. The soil's unstable. You'll sink. I look down, see the depression my boot made, see how the edges are already collapsing inward. Imagine sinking into that soggy earth, surrounded by grabbing limbs, drowning in the dead. The laughter's gone now. Just nausea. We need to move around it, Noemi says, not through. How far around? However far it takes. She starts walking, following the perimeter. I follow her, watching the graves multiply as we move. 80, 90, more. They're all fresh, weeks old at most, which means the battery's still operational, still broadcasting, still luring people in. They'll keep coming, I say. Who? Everyone who hears the transmission. They'll keep walking here. They'll keep dying. Not our problem. Isn't it? She stops. Turns. We can't save people who are already walking. We can only stop the signal. By destroying the tower. By destroying the tower. She sounds so certain. I want that certainty. Want to believe that blowing up a radio tower will fix anything, will matter, will be worth the walk. But I'm looking at the graves, at the orange wristbands, at the proof that hope is just another word for bait. One of the corpses is wearing a custodian insignia. Fresh. Recent. I walk closer, ignoring Noemi's warning about the soil. The insignia is pinned to a jacket, and underneath it there's a patch that says medical staff. The battery's not just operational. The battery's staffed. Run. Organized. I notice the wristband on this corpse. It's different. Red, not orange. VIP access maybe, or employee. Someone who worked there. Someone who knew what was happening. Someone who ended up in the same grave as everyone else. Chapter 14. Salt in the Shell. The convoy's moving slow, headlights off, which means they're either stupid or confident. Probably confident. Custodians don't do stupid. Noemi's counting vehicles, 3 trucks, 1 van, something bigger in the back, maybe a mobile medical unit. She's been watching them for 10 minutes, working out patrol patterns, guard rotations, which vehicle's carrying what. 4th truck, she whispers. That's where they keep the personal effects. How do you know? Because that's where they'd keep mine. She's got her brother's dog tags in her pocket, been carrying them since we found them 3 days ago in a supply cache. Bent into an arrowhead shape she refuses to shoot, refuses to lose, refuses to talk about. We don't have to do this, I say. Yes, we do. The notebook can wait. No, it can't. She's already moving, staying low, using the dark like cover. I follow because that's what I do now. Follow Noemi into bad decisions and hope we both come out the other side. The convoys stop for shift change. Guards swapping positions, drivers checking fuel. We've got maybe 5 minutes before they're mobile again, and if we're still here when they start moving, we're pinned. Noemi reaches the 4th truck. I'm 10 feet behind, keeping watch, pulse compass in my pocket, dipping steady. No carriers nearby. Just us and the custodians. She climbs into the truck bed, moving smooth and silent. I watch the guards. They're focused on something else. A radio transmission, maybe, or just bored. One of them lights a cigarette, and the brief flare of light makes me flinch. Noemi's in. She's searching. I can see her silhouette moving through the canvas cover, hands quick and efficient. A guard turns our direction. I freeze. He's looking right at me, or would be if he could see through the dark. His hand goes to his radio. I count seconds. 5, 10. He speaks into the radio. I can't hear what he's saying, but I can guess. Noemi drops out of the truck bed. She's got something in her hands. A notebook, small, leather-bound. Her brother's. Has to be. We need to move, I whisper. She's staring at the notebook like it's something sacred or cursed. Her fingers are shaking. Noemi, his handwriting, she says. Later. We need to. The guard's walking toward us, radio still at his mouth, calling for backup, probably, or just checking the perimeter. Either way, we've got seconds. Noemi shoves the notebook into her coat, but she's not moving. She's still staring at the dog tags in her hand, her brother's tags, bent and worn. She turns them over, reading the name stamped into the metal. Her breathing stops. Noemi. It's his, she whispers. What? These tags, they're Mateo's. They were on a custodian. The guard's 20 feet away now. I grab her arm, pull her toward the shadows, but she's rigid, frozen, staring at the tags like they're proof of something she already knew but didn't want to believe. We make it to cover just as the guard reaches the truck. He's looking around, suspicious, hand on his weapon. He calls out something I don't catch. Noemi's still holding the tags, still staring. He became an experiment, she says. Quiet, factual, like she's diagnosing a patient. They harvested him, used his parts, then gave his identity to someone else. We don't know that. Yes, we do. She pockets the tags. Her face is different now. Something cold settled behind her eyes, something I haven't seen before. She's always been clinical, detached, treating people like cases. But this is new. This is hate. I notice she's hiding something else in her coat. The notebook's there, visible, but there's another bulge, another pocket. Something she doesn't want me to see. She catches me looking. Her jaw tightens. What else did you take? I ask. The notebook. The tags. That's all? That's all. But the way she says it, the pause before answering, the way her hand moves to her coat pocket, tells me she's hiding something. Not an object, a reaction. Something about finding those tags that she doesn't want me to see. Trust cracks. Hairline fracture, but it's there. The guards moved on. We're safe for now. But Noemi's already walking fast, putting distance between us and the convoy. I follow, watching the new set to her shoulders, the way she's gripping the notebook too tight, the way she won't look at me. The tags, I say. That's what you're hiding. What they mean. I'm not hiding anything. You're hiding how you feel about them. She stops, turns. In the moonlight, I can see her expression clearly, that cold, that hate, burning quiet behind her clinical mask. Does it matter? She asks. That depends. On what? On whether you're planning to use it. She doesn't answer, just turns and keeps walking. And I'm following, like always, except now there's something between us that wasn't there before. Something sharp. Something hidden. Something that might cost us both before this is over. Chapter 15. The Midpoint Broadcast Relay Shack 47's exactly where the map said it would be, perched on a hillside, surrounded by old wind turbines that creak in the wind like they're warning us away. The blackout switches flip every 90 seconds, which means we've got a rhythm to work with. Darkness. Light. Darkness. Light. Noemi's inside already, working the radio console. I'm by the door, watching the valley below. The red pulse of custodian tech dots the landscape. Drones, maybe, or ground units. They're converging. We've got maybe an hour before they're close enough to matter. Got signal, Noemi says. Battery frequency? Yeah. She patches it through. Static fills the shack, then clears into a voice. Male, calm, professional. The kind of voice that sells insurance and sounds trustworthy doing it. Evacuation continues as scheduled, with all survivors should proceed to the battery facility for processing. Transportation to the Continental Safe Zone departs every 72 hours. Bring identification, bring medical records, bring hope. The message loops, same words, same inflection, same lie. Noemi's face is blank, clinical, but her hand's shaking on the frequency dial. I'll keep listening, I say. She does. The loop plays again, then breaks. Different voice now. Female, younger, less scripted. Shipment confirmed. 43 viable organs extracted this cycle, requesting additional B-negative donors. Surgical wing at capacity. Recommend expanding to... The message cuts off, loops back to the evacuation script. Noemi kills the speaker. The silence is worse than the static. The ship sailed months ago, she says. Yeah, there's no evacuation. No. They're luring people in, harvesting them. Yes. She's still staring at the dead speaker, like if she looks long enough, the truth will change. Her hand finds the notebook in her coat, her brother's notebook, and she grips it tight enough that her knuckles go white. We need to destroy it, she says. The tower? The whole thing. Tower. Facility. Everything. That's not what we came here to do. Plans change. She's right. The goal's inverted. We're not reaching salvation. We're ending the signal. Making sure no one else walks into the battery expecting rescue and getting butchered instead. But destroying a radio tower means explosives, means infiltrating a facility, means becoming the kind of people who choose collateral damage over walking away. You sure? I ask. She looks at me, that cold thing still in her eyes, burning steady. I'm sure. I nod. Turn back to the window. The red pulses are closer now. 10 minutes, maybe less. We need to transmit something first, I say. What? Countersignal. Tell people it's a trap. Give them a chance. That'll expose us. We're already exposed. She considers this, flips the transmitter back on, adjusts frequency to broadcast range. What do we say? She asks. I think about the graves, the orange wristbands, the systematic harvest of hope. Say the battery's a lie. Say the evacuation ship sailed. Say anyone walking toward salvation is walking toward surgery. That's not going to sound credible. Then say it anyway. She keys the mic, starts talking. Her voice is steady, clinical, detached. She's listing facts, evacuation date, harvest statistics, the location of the mass grave. She's giving people information, whether they believe it is their problem. The transmission lasts 90 seconds. Then she cuts it, kills the power, sits back. Drones will triangulate that, she says. I know. We need to move. I know. But neither of us moves. We're sitting in Relay Shack 47, watching the power flip between darkness and light, waiting for the custodians to arrive. Because now we're not fugitives anymore. We're priority targets. We've just declared war on the battery, and everyone with a radio heard us do it. Noemi pulls out her brother's notebook, opens it to a random page. I see diagrams, technical schematics maybe, battery access codes, structural weaknesses. He worked there, she says, quiet. Matteo, before he turned, he was part of the engineering team. You knew? I suspected. And you didn't tell me. Would it have changed anything? Fair point. But it's another crack in the trust, another thing she kept hidden. I'm starting to wonder how many more secrets she's carrying, Lydith, how many more things she'll reveal only when forced. The red pulse outside stops moving. The drones have found us. We've got maybe 5 minutes before they breach the shack. Noemi closes the notebook, pockets it, looks at me. Die together? She asks. It's the pact we made, back at the ravine, before everything inverted, before we knew what we were walking into. I look at her, at the cold thing in her eyes, at the woman who's been lying to me by omission since we met. Die together, I say, because what else is there? The door explodes inward. Red light floods the shack, and we're running before the debris stops falling out the back window into the dark, while the transmission we just broadcast echoes across every receiver within 100 miles, telling the truth to people who might not want to hear it. Chapter 16, Heartware. The Relay Shack medical kit's old, pre-fall supplies, military grade. Noemi's sorting through it systematically, cataloging what's usable, what's expired, what's worth keeping. She stops when she finds the cooler. It's small, stainless steel, plugged into a battery pack that's still showing green. She opens it. Inside, a human heart. Still beating. I watch her face go through stages, confusion, recognition, denial, grief. It takes maybe 3 seconds, feels longer. That's not possible, she says. Battery tech keeps organs alive indefinitely. She's staring at the heart like it might explain itself. It's labeled, small engraving on the nutrient pods surrounding it. I can read it from here. Sorry. Her hand hovers over the cooler lid. She could close it, walk away, pretend she didn't see. Instead, she reaches in, touches the pod. The heart's beating against her palm, steady rhythm, alive in a way that defies every natural law. They kept it, she whispers, as leverage, probably, or trophy. Could be both. Voss keeps his favorite extractions alive. Asab labels them with the donor's last words. This one's labeled with an apology, which means Matteo knew what was happening when they cut him open. Knew and couldn't stop it. Noemi's crying, no sound. Just tears running down her face while she holds her brother's living heart. We could take it, she says. Where? I don't know. Somewhere. Maybe it could be. She stops, because there's no sentence that ends with hope. There's no medical facility that could reimplant a heart that's been outside a body for months. There's no resurrection, just this, a beating organ in a cooler, proof that custodians can keep you alive in pieces. It's bait, I say, gentle as I can. They left it here knowing you'd find it, knowing you'd take it, knowing you'd care. I know. So, I know. But she's still holding it, still feeling her brother's heartbeat against her skin. I watch her decide. See the moment the clinical mask drops back into place. See her become the bush doctor again, the woman who treats people like cases, who rations emotion because emotion costs too much. She lifts the heart out of the cooler, holds it up. The nutrient pod's clear enough that I can see the muscle contracting, relaxing, contracting. Alive, impossibly alive. I'm sorry, she says, to the heart, to Matteo, to herself. Then she smashes it against the wall. The pod cracks, nutrient fluid spills, the heart keeps beating for 3 seconds. 4, then stops. She drops it, wipes her hands on her pants. Her face is blank again, that clinical detachment locked back in place. But her hands are shaking. There's GPS in the cooler, I say. I know. Smashing it triggered an alert. I know. Custodians will be here in 6 hours, she finishes. I know. She walks past me, out of the shack. I look at the broken heart, the spilled nutrients, the proof that Noemi just chose mission over miracle. Chose to end her brother's last living piece rather than let custodians keep leverage over her. I follow her outside. She's standing at the tree line, staring at nothing. I became the thing I hate, she says. What? I chose function over feeling, utility over emotion. I'm thinking like them. You're thinking like a survivor. Same thing. Maybe it is. Maybe that's the point. Maybe the custodians aren't wrong about survival requiring sacrifice. They're just wrong about whose sacrifice counts. I stand next to her. Don't touch. Just present. We've got 6 hours, I say. To do what? Get far enough away that the kill team can't find us. They'll find us. Then we make them work for it. She looks at me. The clinical masks cracking at the edges. I can see the grief underneath, raw and fresh and bleeding. I can't do this alone, she says. Good thing you're not alone. Uppo, I mean it. You're stuck with me. Die together, remember? She almost smiles. Almost. Then the mask locks back and she's moving, efficient, gathering supplies. We've got 6 hours before the custodians arrive. 6 hours to put distance between us and this shack. 6 hours before the countdown runs out and we're fighting instead of running. I take one last look at the broken heart, at the single word engraved on the pod, sorry, at the proof that Matteo existed, at the evidence that love can be weaponized, can be kept alive and beating just to hurt the people left behind. Then I follow Noemi into the woods, away from the relay shack, away from the GPS signal that's already broadcasting our location to every custodian within range. The countdown started, and we're running out of time to do anything except survive. Chapter 17, Teeth of the Creek. The creek's knee-deep and freezing. We're wading through it because it's the only cover between here and wherever we're going, which at this point is just away. The child survivors hit us 3 minutes ago, came out of nowhere, maybe 6 of them, all armed with scavenged weapons and desperation. Their leaders, maybe 15, holding a pistol that's too big for his hands, aiming it at my chest. Batteries offering insulin, he says. 3 months worth. For you. I'm not for sale. Everyone's for sale. He's got a point. In a world where medical supplies are currency, a B-negative blood type's worth more than gold, worth more than mercy. Definitely worth more than my life. Noemi's behind me, ceramic knife out, watching the other kids. They've got us surrounded, tactically sound, actually. Someone taught them well. We're not going quietly, Noemi says. The kid shrugs. Doesn't matter. Quiet or loud, insulin's insulin. I look at his face, see the calculation. See him weighing my life against 3 months of treatment for someone he cares about. See him decide I'm worth less. Can't blame him. I'd probably make the same choice. Shoot me, I say. The kid blinks. What? Shoot me. Get it over with. Noemi grabs my arm. Apo, I'm serious. You want to trade me to custodians? Fine, but I'm not walking in alive. So shoot me now, carry my corpse, see what they'll give you for dead weight. The kid's hand wavers. He's young enough that the logic's confusing. Old enough to know I'm calling his bluff. You're worth more alive, he says. Probably. But you'll have to drag me every step, and I'm heavier than I look. We have rope. Then you'll have to watch me the whole way, no sleep, no breaks, and the second you look away, I'm gone. His grip tightens on the pistol. He's thinking it through, wondering if the insulin's worth the hassle, wondering if maybe there's an easier target somewhere else. Noemi steps in front of me, between me and the gun. He's worth more than insulin, she says. He's worth something to someone. And that means something. I stare at the back of her head. She's shaking. Not from cold, from adrenaline, but her voice is steady, clinical. The way she sounds when she's treating a patient and pretending not to care. The kid lowers the gun, just an inch, but it's enough. You his woman? He asks. I'm his partner. Same thing. Not even close. One of the other kids, younger, maybe 12, says something I don't catch. The leader glances at him, then back at us, calculating, reconsidering. Battery's still offering, he says. Battery's a trap, Noemi replies. So you say. So we broadcasted, you heard it or you didn't. The kid spits into the creek. Heard it. Didn't believe it. Then you're walking toward your own harvest. Or you're lying to keep people away from rescue. There's no arguing with that logic. Paranoia is a survival trait now. Trust is what gets you killed. The pistol comes back up, aimed at Noemi this time. Move, he says. She doesn't. I grab her shoulder, pull her aside. The gun's on me again, the kid's fingers on the trigger. I can see the tension in his grip, the micro movements that say he's about to shoot. Part of me wants him to. Part of me is tired enough, done enough, that a bullet sounds like relief. But I look at Noemi, at her face, at the expression she's wearing, terror barely masked by clinical detachment, and I realize she's right. I'm worth something to someone, which means I can't just give up and call it mercy. We've got medical supplies, I say. Not insulin, but other stuff. Antibiotics, painkillers. Trade? The kid hesitates. His finger eases off the trigger. How much? Half of what we have. All of it. Half. We need the rest. He looks at his crew. They're watching him, waiting for orders. One of them, the 12-year-old, is limping. Infection, probably. Without antibiotics, he's got days. The kid lowers the gun. Show me. Noemi pulls out our medical kit, opens it. The kid rifles through, taking what he wants. More than half. Closer to 3/4. We don't stop him. When he's done, he steps back, aims the gun again, just for show. You come through here again, he says. We shoot first. Noted. He whistles. The crew melts back into the trees. We're alone in the creek, lighter by most of our medical supplies, alive by grace of negotiation. Noemi's still shaking. I put my hand on her back. Brief contact, just to ground her. You okay? I ask. No. Me neither. We start walking again, upstream. The water's loud enough to cover footsteps, ours and anyone following. My dark blade's in my hand now, ceramic knife painted matte black, no reflective surface. The blood on it's fresh, not carrier blood. I don't remember cutting anyone, but the blade's wet. Noemi sees it, sees me seeing it, doesn't say anything. Behind us, somewhere distant, something howls. Carrier sound. The gunshots attracted them. We've got minutes before the horde arrives, drawn by noise we couldn't avoid. Run? I ask. Run, she confirms. And we're moving, splashing through freezing water, lungs burning, while the howling gets closer and the countdown clock in my head, 6 hours until Custodian kill team arrives, ticks down to 5 hours, 40 minutes, and dropping. Chapter 18, Paper Crown for a King. The highway's a graveyard of fuel tankers, stacked 3 deep in some places, leaking accelerant that makes the air shimmer. One spark and this whole stretch goes up. One spark and we're vapor. Noemi's moving careful, testing each step before committing weight. I'm following her path exactly, trying not to think about the gasoline soaking into my boots. Why here, I ask. Quiet. Because no one else would be stupid enough to cross it. Including us. Especially us. But we're crossing anyway because the alternative is backtracking 6 hours, and we don't have 6 hours. We have 5 now, maybe less. I count tankers as we pass. 11, 14. Some of them are cracked open, cargo spilled across the pavement. The smell's overwhelming. Petroleum and ozone and something else, something organic. Bodies inside the cabs, probably. Drivers who ran out of fuel and never made it home. Noemi stops, pulls something from her pocket. I think it's the notebook at first, her brother's notebook with the battery schematics, but it's smaller. Paper, folded into a crown shape. The paper crown I made her 4 days ago. Joke gift. Stupid gesture. Called her Queen of Maybe because she kept saying, maybe we'll make it, maybe we won't. She unfolds it. The paper's fragile, edges tearing from being carried in her coat. She refolds it, careful, like it matters. Why'd you make this? She asks. Seemed funny at the time. It's not funny. No. She looks at me. The clinical mask's gone. Just her. Just Noemi. Just the woman who smashed her brother's heart and hasn't stopped shaking since. It's the first thing anyone's given me that wasn't transactional, she says. I don't know what to say to that. Don't know if there's anything to say. She puts the crown back in her pocket, pulls out her remaining cigarettes, 1.5 total. 1 full cigarette, 1/2 from when she split one earlier. She takes the full cigarette, breaks it in half, hands me 1 piece, keeps the other. Second of calm, she says, it's her ritual. Stores cigarettes as seconds of calm. Each one's a moment of peace in a world that doesn't offer any. She's just given me half her remaining piece. I take it, put it in my pocket with the half I already have. Now I've got a full cigarette's worth of calm. She's got 1/2 remaining. Thanks, I say. Don't mention it. We keep walking. The tankers thin out ahead, just 3 more, then clear road. We're almost through. The air tastes like copper, like ozone, like carriers waking up somewhere nearby, drawn by our movement through the dark. Noemi pulls out the paper crown again, looks at it, puts it back, does this 3 times in as many minutes. It's stupid, she says. What? Keeping this. It's paper. It's useless. So throw it away. She doesn't. Just keeps walking, one hand in her pocket, gripping the crown like it's keeping her tethered. We clear the last tanker. The road opens up ahead, dark, empty, leading toward the battery. Toward the tower we're planning to destroy. Toward the end of whatever this is. I can smell the gasoline on my boots. Can feel the half cigarette in my pocket, promise of calm I haven't earned yet. Can hear Noemi breathing next to me, measured and controlled, like she's diagnosing her own panic and prescribing distance. Queen of Maybe, I say. She almost smiles. Almost. Shut up, she replies. And we're walking again, side by side, away from the fuel tankers and their promise of instant immolation. The paper crown's in her pocket. The cigarette halves are in mine. And somewhere ahead, the battery's broadcasting lies to people who need hope more than truth. 5 hours until the Custodian kill team finds us. Maybe less. Maybe more. Maybe we'll make it. Maybe we won't. Chapter 19, Custodian Sunday. The congregation's packed into what used to be a church, pews filled, standing room only, everyone watching Surgeon General Voss perform surgery on a volunteer. Live. On stage. With cameras. We're in the back, pressed against the wall, trying to blend. Noemi's whistling Shenandoah under her breath, which means she's terrified. I'm counting prime numbers, which means I'm barely holding it together. Voss is speaking while he works, narrating the procedure like it's educational television. And here we see the donor's generosity made manifest, he's saying. His hands are inside someone's chest. The volunteer, not volunteer, victim, is awake, looking down at their own open ribcage. 1 heart given freely will sustain 5 recipients, 1 life multiplied. This is the mathematics of love. The crowd applauds, actually applauds, like they're watching a magic trick instead of live organ harvest. I'm going to vomit. Noemi's hand finds mine, squeezes. Not navigation, not communication, just anchor. She's keeping me from bolting, keeping me from doing something stupid that gets us both identified. Voss extracts the heart, holds it up. It's still beating in his hands, sustained by whatever battery tech makes this possible. He places it in a preservation pod, seals it, labels it with a small engraving tool. I can read the label from here. Mercy. The donor's last word, Voss explains, preserved forever, a reminder that sacrifice is sacred. More applause. Someone in the front row is crying. Happy tears. I feel bile rising. Swallow it. Count primes. 41, 43, 47. Noemi's grip tightens. She's looking at something across the room. A custodian guard, watching the crowd. His eyes sweep past us. Pause. Come back. We're made. But he doesn't move. Just watches, evaluating, deciding if we're worth the interruption. Voss is closing up the donor now. Efficient. Clinical. The patient's still conscious, still watching, still smiling like they've just achieved enlightenment instead of suicide. Who among you, Voss says, addressing the congregation, will give so generously? Who will sacrifice the temporary for the eternal? Hands go up, dozens of them, people volunteering, eager, faithful. This isn't just harvest, this is religion, commodification dressed as salvation, and they're buying it because hope's addictive, and these people are desperate enough to believe anything. The guard's moving now, toward us, slow, casual, like he's just repositioning. We need to leave, I whisper. Noemi nods. We start edging toward the door. The guard adjusts his path, cutting us off. We're 10 feet from exit when Voss speaks again. And for our special donors, those with rare markers, unique profiles, we offer not just eternal life for others, but partnership. Join us. Become part of the collective. Your blood will save thousands. He's looking right at me. He knows. The guard's hand goes to his radio. Noemi's hand goes to her ceramic knife. I'm calculating odds. 1 guard, 2 of us, congregation between us and the door. Bad odds. Terrible odds. But before anyone moves, the donor on stage starts seizing, body convulsing, preservation failing. Voss turns back to his patient, hands moving quick to stabilize. The guard looks away. Just for a second, we bolt. Out the door, into the night, running before anyone realizes we're gone. Behind us, I hear shouting, radio chatter, the sound of organized pursuit. I'm bent over 3 blocks away, emptying my stomach into a gutter. Noemi's keeping watch, knife out, breathing hard. You okay? She asks. No. Fair. I spit, wipe my mouth, stand up. My hands are shaking, can't stop them. They're going to keep doing that, I say. Yes. Forever, as long as the battery broadcasts, as long as people believe. Yes. My blood could fuel it. They could keep harvesting people. Keep that whole system running, all because I'm B negative. She looks at me. The clinical mask's back, but underneath I can see something else. Understanding. Shared horror. That's why we destroy it, she says. Is it enough? It has to be. But we both know it's not. We both know that blowing up 1 tower won't stop the custodians, won't end the harvest, won't save the people already walking toward false hope. All we can do is stop the signal. Turn off the light that's drawing moths to flame. It's not salvation, but it's something. The shouting's getting closer. We need to move. The congregation's mobilizing, looking for us, probably offered reward for our capture. We're targets now. Known, marked. Noemi pockets her knife. Starts walking. I follow, still shaking, still tasting bile. Behind us, the church is lit up bright. Inside, Voss is probably already prepping the next volunteer, the next heart, the next label. And my blood type, rare, valuable, sacred, is the reason any of this works. Chapter 20, The Broken Pact. The custodian outpost's small, just a guard shack and storage unit surrounded by chain link fence. We've been watching it for 20 minutes, working out how to get inside without getting shot. The detonators we need are in the storage unit. The problem is the prisoners. There are 8 of them, chained together in the guard shack basement. We can hear them through the ventilation grate, coughing, talking, occasionally screaming. They're bait or leverage or just waiting for transport. Doesn't matter which. What matters is the detonators we steal will arm bombs planted under their holding cell. Take the detonators, become terrorists. Leave the detonators, fail the mission. Noemi's working through the ethics. I can see it in her face. The calculation, the cost-benefit analysis, the moment she decides 8 lives are acceptable collateral for stopping the battery. We don't have a choice, she says. There's always a choice. Not a good one. She's right, but that doesn't make it easier. What if we evacuate them first? I ask. How? We're two people. They're chained. Guards are armed. We'd have to fight through, get them loose, move them to safety, then come back for the detonators. We don't have time. So we just... what? Let them die? We save thousands by destroying the battery. They're 8. It's utilitarian calculus. Greatest good for greatest number. The same logic Voss uses. The same logic that makes custodians efficient. The same logic that turns people into commodities. No, I say. Apo. I said no. She looks at me, that cold thing's back in her eyes, burning steady. She's made her decision. She's choosing mission over mercy, function over feeling. She's becoming exactly what she hates. Then what do you suggest? She asks. Flat, clinical. We find another way. There is no other way. Then we make one. With what? Hope? Sentiment? We're past that. Are we? She doesn't answer, just stares at the guard shack, calculating. I can see her reimagining the approach, factoring in prisoner evacuation, estimating casualties. Even if we could free them, she says finally, they'd slow us down. We'd never make it to the battery in time. Then we don't make it in time. Then the signal keeps broadcasting, more people die. Different people, not these people. What's the difference? And there it is. The core question, the thing we've been dancing around since the Midpoint Broadcast. What's the difference between 8 corpses we create and hundreds of corpses we prevent? What's the math that makes some lives worth more than others? I don't have an answer. Just the sick feeling that if we cross this line, if we accept collateral damage as necessary cost, we're not any different than Voss. We're just harvesting different things. I can't do it. I say, you won't have to. I will. She's already moving, low and fast, toward the fence. I grab her arm. She turns, knife out, ready to cut me if I don't let go. Don't, I say. We made a pact. Die together. That means we do this together. It doesn't mean we become them. We're already them. The second we decided to destroy the battery, we became terrorists. The second we sent that counter-broadcast, we accepted that some people would die. This is just more explicit. She's right, and I hate that she's right, but I let go of her arm, and she pockets the knife. And we're both standing there, this looking at the guard shack, at the storage unit, at the choice that's not really a choice. If we do this, I say, we can't go back. I know. The pact, die together. It doesn't mean this. It doesn't mean murdering prisoners. It means whatever keeps us alive long enough to stop the signal. Does it? She doesn't answer. Just looks at me and I can see the fracture. The moment our partnership splits into opposition, she's made her choice. I'm making mine. And they're not the same choice anymore. We end up stealing the detonators. Both of us together like the pact demanded, but we don't speak while we're doing it. Don't coordinate beyond necessity. And when we leave, when we're back in the woods with the detonators secured and the prisoners still chained in the basement below a now armed explosive, we walk side by side, but separate. The pact's broken. Not the words, the spirit. That night we sleep back to back, like strangers. The paper crown she's been carrying is between us, crushed flat by our weight. Neither of us moves to fix it. And somewhere behind us, in the custodian outpost, 12 prisoners wait in a basement that might explode. Collateral damage, acceptable losses, mathematics of sacrifice. I don't sleep. Neither does Noemi. We just lie there, backs touching, separated by everything that matters, while the countdown clock ticks closer to battery, closer to confrontation, closer to the moment we become the thing we're fighting against. Chapter 21. Apostolos Unmasked. The straps bite into my wrists, surgical steel, cold enough to make the bones ache. Voss stands over me with his hands folded behind his back, head tilted like he's examining a particularly interesting specimen, which I suppose I am. B negative. Rare. Premium stock, according to the chart I saw on my way in here. You've caused considerable disruption, Apostolos, he says. I don't answer. My eyes track the room instead, 3 exits, all guarded. Heart monitor beeping steady beside me. The phantom ache in my missing fingertip flares up. Always does when I'm about to lie to myself. Your blood, Voss continues, moving closer, is the foundation of our work. Every eternal heart currently beating in this facility traces back to your type. You're not just valuable, you're irreplaceable. The light overhead flickers. Red pulse from the monitor. I count prime numbers in my head. 3, 5, 7. I'm offering you a throne, he says. At my side. Help us build something that lasts beyond this plague, beyond the carriers. Immortality, Apostolos, not for the few, for everyone willing to make the sacrifice. I think about the graves we found, the battery wristbands on corpses, the massive bodies that believed in salvation. I'm just a man, I say. Voss's smile doesn't reach his eyes. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to be anything more. Just let us use what you have. Your blood could save thousands. By making me a commodity. By making you essential. I test the straps. No give. The monitor spikes slightly. Voss glances at it. Your friend Noemi is quite skilled, he says, changing tactics. We could use someone with her knowledge. Medical training is precious now. If you agree, she walks out of here, lives a full life. Think about it. Your sacrifice ensures her survival. There it is. My own flaw reflected back at me. Self-sacrifice twisted into something that sounds noble but smells like blood and formaldehyde. I think about my mother's voice on the Nokia. The static. The shot I heard but couldn't stop. No, I say. Voss straightens. No? I'm not a messiah, not a savior, not your eternal supply chain. The words come easier than I expected. I'm just a man who made it this far because someone else decided I was worth keeping alive. That's sentiment. That's the point. For a moment, something flickers across Voss's face. Not anger. Almost disappointment, like he genuinely thought I'd see the logic in his offer. The refusal is noted, he says, reaching for a tray beside the table. Scalpels arranged in a neat row. But the blood remains necessary. The door opens. Noemi enters, flanked by 2 guards. Her face is carefully blank. Professional. The way she looks when she's cataloging a case she knows she can't save. Dr. Vargas has agreed to assist with the procedure, Voss says, to ensure minimal discomfort. Noemi's eyes meet mine. There's a question there. An apology, maybe. Or permission. I think about the verbal pact we made at the ravine. Die together. But that's not what this is. This is her buying time the only way she knows how. It's fine, I tell her. She nods once, moves to the tray. Her hands are steady as she selects a scalpel. The guards shift, watching her, watching me. Voss gestures to the heart baths along the wall, nutrient solutions glowing faintly red, each one labeled with a donor's last word. I can see them from here. Mercy, hope, please, mother. We'll start with 2 liters, Voss says, enough to stabilize our current stock, then we'll discuss long-term arrangements. The phantom ache spreads up my arm. I focus on Noemi instead. The way she's holding the scalpel, too tight. The angle's wrong. She's not preparing for a harvest. She's preparing for something else. Voss doesn't see it. He's already turning toward the heart baths, explaining the process to one of his assistants. How the serum works, how my blood bonds with the infected tissue to create artificial stability. Noemi meets my eyes again. This time I understand. We didn't come here to escape. We came here to destroy. The monitor beeps. Steady. My veins are exposed along the inside of my arm where they've already prepped the insertion site. Voss is holding a syringe now, explaining something about sedation protocols. The commodity, he says, turning back to me with that same clinical smile, refuses its price. He doesn't see Noemi's hand shift toward the tray, doesn't see the way her weight settles on her back foot, doesn't see the borrowed scalpel that isn't for my veins at all. I keep my face blank. Count prime numbers. 11, 13, 17. The straps dig deeper into my wrists. Chapter 22, Noemi's Red Ledger. Noemi makes the first cut so fast I almost miss it. Not on me, on the nutrient line feeding the nearest heart bath. The red solution spills across the surgical tray. Alarm bells should be ringing. But Voss is still talking about sedation, and the guards haven't moved. She's talking too. Medical jargon I barely follow. Something about venous access and saline flush. Her voice stays level. Professional. The kind of tone that says everything's under control. The heart in the bath stutters. Just once. Voss finally notices. Dr. Vargas? Contamination, she says, already moving to the next bath. Cross-reactive proteins. I need to flush the system before we proceed. She's not flushing anything. She's infecting them. I can see it now, the way her hands move between the surgical kit on her hip and the nutrient lines, the small syringe she palms, the quick insertions that look like adjustments but aren't. Stop! Voss's voice sharpens. Noemi doesn't stop. Her hands keep moving. Third bath. Fourth. The guards finally react, but she's already stepping between them and the equipment, using her body as a shield. The serum's compromised, she says. If I don't neutralize it now, the entire stock will reject. You'll lose everything. It's a lie, but it's a good one. Technical enough to buy seconds. Voss's hand shoots out, grabs her wrist. What did you introduce? Noemi looks at him. For a moment, the professional mask slips. I see the woman who found her brother's heart in a cooler, who smashed it rather than let these people keep one more piece of someone she loved. His blood, she says quietly. Voss goes still. Apostolos' blood is the foundation, his bitten blood. The room crystallizes. Even the guards understand what that means. Carrier-infected blood in the nutrient baths. In the heart's keeping this whole operation alive. You've condemned them, Voss whispers. I've ended them, Noemi corrects. There's a difference. Voss releases her wrist, moves to the heart baths. His hands hover over the nearest one like he's blessing it, or mourning it. The label reads mercy in careful print. This was our future, he says. This was theft. He looks at her, really looks. And what does that make you? Noemi's shoulders drop, just slightly, like the weight of the question actually landed. The same thing you are, someone who decided one life was worth more than another. She glances at me. Except I chose the person who didn't want to be a god. Voss's jaw tightens. For a second I think he might strike her, but he doesn't. He just turns back to the hearts, watching them beat, knowing each pulse brings them closer to rejection. You had a gift, he says to me. Not angry, almost sad. You could have saved thousands. By being a commodity, by being willing. I test the straps again. Still no, but Noemi's closer now, close enough that her shadow falls across my arm. I saved one person, I say. That's enough. Voss picks up a scalpel from the tray, not the one Noemi used. A fresh one, clean. He holds it up to the light. The red pulse from the monitor reflects off the blade. The procedure continues, he says. Contaminated hearts can be replaced. Blood can always be harvested. One of the guards moves toward Noemi. She doesn't resist, just looks at me. I mouth a single word. Thank you. She closes her eyes, nods. The scalpel comes down, but not on me. Voss makes the incision on the nearest heart bath, draining it. Methodical, like he's performing surgery on the future itself. The labeled heart inside Mercy goes still as the nutrients drain away. We start over, Voss says. We always start over. He moves to the next bath. Hope. The scalpel hovers. Noemi speaks. You can't start over if there's nothing left to build with. Voss pauses. Meaning? Meaning I didn't just infect your stock. She's looking at me now. Not him. I infected the source. My veins, the insertion site they prepped, the small syringe she palmed that I thought was for the baths. When? Voss demands. Before you notice the first contamination. Her voice is steady. Calm, the way it gets when she's already made peace with the cost. His blood won't bond anymore. It'll accelerate rejection instead. I feel it then. A slow burn spreading up my arm from the insertion site. Not pain exactly, not more like recognition. My body understanding what she's introduced. You've ruined him, Voss says. I've freed him. The monitor starts climbing. My heart rate's spiking. Not fear. Something else. The infected blood mixing with the biometric response. The guards move closer. One has a hand on his weapon. Voss sets down the scalpel. carefully, like it's precious. Dr. Vargas, you've just insured your own death. I've insured his life, she corrects. That's different. She looks at me. Really looks. I became what I hated, used people like cases, kept them at distance because it hurt less when they didn't make it. Her voice cracks, just slightly. But you made it, and I couldn't let them take that. I try to speak. Can't. The infection's spreading faster than I expected. My throat's tight. Noemi leans closer. Her hand finds mine despite the straps. Squeezes once. You forgive me? She asks. I nod. The guards pull her back. Voss is already moving to the table, checking the monitors, the contaminated insertion site, his face unreadable. Surgical extraction, he says. Remove the infected tissue. We might salvage something. But he doesn't sound convinced. The door opens, more staff flood in, emergency protocols kicking into gear. Someone's checking the heart baths, confirming contamination. The word spreads like its own infection, compromised, realized, lost. Voss stands in the center of it all, watching his future bleed out across surgical trays and nutrient lines. Noemi's still looking at me. Her lips move. I read the words even though I can't hear them over the alarms. Worth it. I mouth back. Thank you. The monitor screams. Someone's injecting something into my IV line. Stabilizers, probably. Or sedatives. The room starts to blur. Last thing I see is Noemi. Still standing. Still meeting my eyes. Still refusing to look away. Chapter 23, Choir of Silence. The power goes out. Not flickering. Not brownout. Just gone. Complete. The kind of dark that makes your eyes ache trying to adjust. The monitors die mid-alarm. The surgical lights vanish. Even the red pulse from the equipment fades to nothing. For 3 seconds, there's total silence, except for my breathing and the drip of contaminated nutrients hitting the floor. Then someone screams. Not a person, a carrier, outside the facility. Then another. Then a dozen. The sound builds like a choir tuning up for a performance no one wants to hear. Auxiliary power, Voss's voice cuts through the dark. Steady, commanding. Activate auxiliary. The building shakes. Not an explosion, something heavier, like a wave hitting shore. I realize what it is a second before the first crash echoes down the hallway. The carriers have breached the outer perimeter. And without lights, they're frozen. Cataleptic, which means someone cut the power deliberately. Someone who knows how they work in total darkness. Noemi, I call out. Here. Her voice comes from my left. Close. I feel her hands on the straps binding my wrists. Metal scraping. She's trying to pick the locks in complete dark. You did this, I say. Not a question. Counted the seconds until the sabotage triggered. Her fingers work faster. Custodians keep auxiliary generators in the basement. I flooded them with contaminated nutrient solution 3 hours ago. They'll try to restart, it won't work. The building shakes again. Closer. Voss is shouting orders, but his voice is fading, moving away, leaving us in the surgical theater with contaminated hearts and the sound of carriers flooding the facility floor by floor. How long, I ask? Until they reach us? 5 minutes. The first strap releases. My left hand comes free. Until the generators dry out enough to reboot, 6. That's not enough time. I know. My right hand comes free. I sit up. The infection burns through my veins, but I can move, can think. The surgical theater is a void of black. No windows, no emergency lighting, just us and the dark and the distant sound of the carrier wave breaking against steel doors. The tower. We can still reach the battery, plant the charges. With what power? Noemi's hand finds mine, squeezes. The whole grid's down. We ended their operation, but we didn't destroy the tower itself. She's right. The battery's still standing, still broadcasting false hope to anyone listening, still waiting to harvest the next wave of desperate survivors who believe in evacuation ships. Then we do it in the dark, I say. How? Same way we got here, one step at a time. Her fingers tighten around mine. The paper crown, she says, then laughs, sharp, almost breaking. You made me a paper crown, and now we're going to die in the dark. We're not dying. You're contaminated. We're not dying, I repeat, firmer. We made a pact, Die together, but not here, not like this. The carrier sounds grow louder. 3rd floor. Maybe 2nd. The gaps between crashes are shrinking. They're moving faster now, drawn by something. Heat maybe, or the memory of light. I slide off the surgical table. My legs hold, barely. The room spins, but I stay upright. Noemi's hand stays in mine. Anchor point, compass bearing. The charges are in your pack? I ask. Yes. The detonators? Wired to biometric triggers. We'd need a living heart too. She stops, realizes. Voss? Where is he? Headed for the communication tower. Same direction we need to go. Her voice shifts. Planning mode. If we follow the sound of his retreat, we can navigate without light. Use him as a guide. And when we catch him, then we take what we need. It's brutal, utilitarian, exactly the kind of choice Voss would make. But it's also survival. And we're past the point where philosophy matters more than breathing. I count prime numbers. 19, 23, 29. The infection makes it harder to focus, but the rhythm helps. Let's move, I say. We walk hand in hand through the surgical theater. Noemi's night vision is better than mine. She guides us around the surgical table, past the contaminated heart baths, their labels invisible in the dark, but I remember them. Mercy, hope, please, mother, all going still now, all rejected. The door is somewhere ahead. I feel for it with my free hand. Cold steel under my palm. I push. It opens 6 inches before hitting something. Resistance. Carrier? Noemi whispers. Or debris. I push harder. The door gives another foot, enough to squeeze through. We move single file now. Noemi first. Her hand never releases mine. The hallway is different dark, not just absence of light, active dark, the kind that presses against your eyes like weight. I keep my free hand on the wall, follow the texture. Smooth plaster to rough concrete. We're moving deeper into the facility. The carrier sounds have stopped. That's worse somehow. The silence means they've frozen, which means we're walking through a hallway full of cataleptic infected, close enough to touch, maybe already touching. I think about the pulse rule. Total darkness equals stasis. Any visible light equals rage. Don't even think about checking your phone, Noemi murmurs. Wouldn't matter. Battery's dead. Good. We walk for what feels like hours, but is probably minutes. Time warps in total dark. My internal count gets fuzzy around 300 seconds. The infection's spreading. I can feel it in my thoughts. Spaces between words growing longer. Then, light. Not much. Just a thin seam under a door ahead, barely visible. But after total dark, it might as well be a floodlight. Voss? Noemi says. We move toward the light. My hand leaves the wall. We're in open space now. Larger room. I hear wind turbine sounds in the distance. The battery tower. We're close. The door is heavy, reinforced. Noemi tries the handle. Locked. Can you pick it? I ask. Not without seeing. Then we knock. That's insane. So is everything else we've done today. I raise my fist, pause, look toward where I think Noemi's face is in the dark. The paper crown joke. Earlier, you laughed. So you never laugh at my jokes. Maybe I'm delirious. Or maybe you're finally admitting they're funny. She makes a sound, half sob, half laugh. They're terrible. But you laughed. I did. I knock. 3 sharp hits. The sound echoes. Inside the room, movement stops. Footsteps approach. The light under the door shifts as someone stands on the other side. Who's there? Voss's voice. Strained. He knows. Your supply chain, I say. We'd like to renegotiate terms. Silence. Then the lock disengages. The door opens 3 inches. Light spills out. Faint. Emergency lantern, probably. But after total dark, it's blinding. Voss's face appears in the gap. Older than I remember. Tired. The photophobic migraine showing in the way he squints against even his own dim light. You're contaminated, he says to me. You're surrounded, Noemi replies. By what? Frozen carriers and failed infrastructure? But his voice wavers. He knows we didn't come to negotiate. By choices, I say. Same ones you gave us. Voss's hand tightens on the door edge. Behind him, I can see equipment. The communication tower controls. And on the desk, the detonator case. The one that needs a living heart to trigger. You want the tower, Voss says. We want to end what you started. It's already ended. The hearts are rejected. The serum's compromised. Everything I built is... His voice cracks. Actually cracks. You've already won. Not until the battery stops broadcasting, Noemi says. Voss looks at her. Then me. His expression shifts, understanding settling in. The detonator requires biometric verification, a living heartbeat. You came here for mine. Neither of us denies it. He steps back, opens the door wider. The emergency lantern casts his shadow long across the floor. He's not armed, not restraining us, just waiting. You'll have to take it, he says. I won't volunteer. We know. Voss moves to the desk, picks up the detonator case, holds it like it's precious. This was supposed to save people. It was supposed to farm them, Noemi corrects. Same thing, in a world like this. He sets the case down. Looks at me. Your mother, on the phone. Did she say goodbye? The phantom ache flares. What? When she died on your FaceTime, did she get to say goodbye? I don't answer. Can't. Mine didn't either, Voss says quietly. Carrier took her mid-sentence. I've been trying to give people more time ever since. More sentences, more breaths. More... He stops. I thought that made me righteous. It made you efficient, I say. And you, what does this make you? I look at Noemi, her hand still in mine. The paper crown I gave her probably crushed in her pocket. The cigarettes all gone. The verbal pact we made at the ravine echoing in the space between us. Human, I say. Voss nods. Like he expected that answer, like he's heard it before and dismissed it, but now, in the dim light of his failing compound, it sounds different. Then be human, he says. Take what you need. He doesn't fight when we move toward him, just closes his eyes and waits. Chapter 24. The Surgeon's Gospel. Voss has his hand over his chest, protective, instinctive, like his body knows what we're here to do, even if his mind has accepted it. The detonator, he says, voice carefully level, requires a living heart. The biometric scanner reads electrical impulses, rhythm patterns. You can't fake it with stored tissue. Noemi moves toward the desk, examines the case without touching it. How long after extraction? 4 minutes, maybe 5. Then the tissue loses viability for the lock. Plenty of time. To plant the charges? No. The tower's 300 meters from here, through carrier-infested corridors, without light. Voss's smile is sharp, broken. You'll make it maybe 50 meters before the heart tissue degrades. Then you'll have nothing but dead weight and a tower that keeps broadcasting. I lean against the wall. The infection makes standing difficult. My veins feel too hot, like they're burning from the inside. You're suggesting we let you live. I'm suggesting pragmatism. Let me carry the heart. I'll trigger the detonator. The tower falls. You get what you want. And you get to be the martyr, Noemi says. I get to finish what I started on my terms. He looks at me. Isn't that what you want? Self-sacrifice turned into something meaningful? The room tilts. I close my eyes, count prime numbers, but they scatter like birds. 31, 37, 41. My mother's voice on the Nokia. The static. The shot. No, I say. No? You don't get to rewrite this as redemption. I open my eyes, the room steadies. You built a machine that ground people into components, labeled them with their last words like that made it sacred. You don't get to walk away from that wearing a hero's face. Voss's jaw tightens. And what do you get to walk away wearing? Nothing. That's the point. Noemi's hand finds mine again, squeezes once. She's made a decision. I can see it in the set of her shoulders, the way she's positioned herself between Voss and the door. You said survival demands sacrificial love, she says to him, that the willing give up pieces of themselves so others can continue, that it's noble, necessary. I did. Then prove it. Offer yourself, not as strategy, not as martyrdom, just as... She stops, searching for the word. As payment for what you took. Voss is quiet for a long moment. Outside, the carrier sounds have started again. Distant, but building. The generators must be trying to reboot, partial power flickering on somewhere in the facility. You want confession, he says finally. Absolution through honesty. I want accountability. From a man who's about to die? Especially from him. Voss moves to the emergency lantern, picks it up. The light shifts. Shadows crawl across the walls like living things. He holds the lantern close to his face. The photophobic migraines make him wince, but he doesn't look away. I used your brother, he says to Noemi. Matteo. His last word was sorry. I wore his heart on my wrist for 3 months, showed it off at sermons, called it the foundation. His voice is flat, clinical. It made people believe, which made them volunteer, which made the machine function. Noemi's breath catches, just slightly. I could tell you I did it for the greater good, Voss continues, that his sacrifice saved hundreds, that meaning was built from tragedy, all the things I told myself when I couldn't sleep. He sets the lantern down. But the truth is simpler. I needed a symbol. He was convenient. Convenient, Noemi repeats. The word sounds sharp in her mouth, like glass. Yes. And the others? The hearts in the nutrient baths? Mercy, hope, please, mother? All convenient. All necessary, all. Voss stops, closes his eyes. All people I stopped seeing as people. The room is silent except for the distant carrier sounds. The wind turbine whoosh of the tower outside, the drip of contaminated nutrients somewhere down the hall. I think about my own blood, B negative, premium stock, how close I came to being another convenient symbol. You're right, Voss says to me. I don't get redemption, but I can give you effectiveness. He opens his eyes, looks at Noemi. I can carry my own heart to the tower, trigger the detonator, end the broadcast. You won't have to become what you hate. We already are what we hate, Noemi says quietly. That happened the moment we decided your life was worth less than the mission. Then let me make it worth something. It doesn't work that way. No, but it's what I have to offer. The emergency lantern flickers. Once. Twice. The generators are definitely trying to reboot. We have maybe 2 minutes before partial power returns. Before the carriers start waking in the corridors between here and the tower. Noemi looks at me. Your call. Why mine? Because he's offering you the same choice you've been running from. Utilitarian sacrifice, efficiency over humanity. You said no when they wanted your blood. Say it again now. I look at waiting. Patient. Patient, like he already knows what I'll choose. Like he's seen this moment play out in a dozen scenarios and they all end the same way. How much do you weigh? I ask. He blinks. What? What? Your weight. How heavy are you? 73 kilograms. Why does the tower's 300 meters? I'm contaminated. Noemi's exhausted. Neither of us can carry a 73-kilo body and plant charges before your heart tissue degrades. I push off the wall, stand straight despite the burning in my veins, but we can carry a surgical extraction. That's what? Half a kilo? Less, Noemi says, understanding dawning. Closer to 300 grams. Voss's expression shifts. You're still planning to? Yes, but not as punishment, as logistics. I move closer, the phantom ache in my missing finger pulses. You don't get redemption, you don't get sacrifice, you get to be useful one last time, then you get to be done. That's still death. That's still what you offered. Voss looks between us, searching for mercy maybe, or reprieve. He finds neither, just two people who've run out of philosophical debates and patience. Will it hurt? He asks. Yes, Noemi says. Not cruel, just honest. Good. Voss straightens, unbuttons his collar. I'd hate to miss that part. The emergency lantern flickers again, stronger this time. The generators are close to reboot, maybe 60 seconds. Noemi moves to her pack, pulls out the medical kit, the ceramic dark blade, alcohol wipes that smell like prelude to honesty. She lays them out on the desk in careful rows. Lie down, she tells Voss. He does. The desk creaks under his weight. He's looking at the ceiling, hands folded across his stomach, almost peaceful. The hearts you labeled, he says. Their last words. I heard everyone, remembered everyone. That counts for something, doesn't it? No, I say. I didn't think so. He closes his eyes, but I had to ask. Noemi picks up the dark blade, tests the edge against her thumb, draws a thin line of blood. She wipes it on her pants, looks at me. Count him down, she says. I move to Voss's side, place my hand on his shoulder. The phantom ache is everywhere now, not just my missing finger, my whole body remembering what it cost to stay alive this long. 3, I say. Voss's breathing quickens. 2, his hands tighten against his stomach. 1. The emergency lantern flickers a final time. Then Noemi makes the cut. Chapter 25, Heartbeat. Over hard drive blood is louder than you'd think. Not the flow. The sound of it hitting the floor in thick drops while Noemi works. Voss stopped making noise after the first incision. Shock, probably. Or acceptance. Hard to tell when someone's eyes roll back and their breathing goes shallow. The carriers outside aren't quiet, though. The generators kicked on 30 seconds ago. Partial power, which means partial light, which means carriers in the corridors are starting to wake, stumbling, orienting, following the red pulse from equipment rebooting floor by floor. How long? I ask. 2 minutes. Noemi's hands don't shake. She's in clinician mode, detached, the way she gets when emotion would slow her down. Maybe less. The cardiac tissue's more deteriorated than I expected. His migraines, or stress, or age, doesn't matter. We have what we have. Voss's chest is open, not far, just enough. Noemi's working with the dark blade and a borrowed surgical clamp from the custodian kit. The heart is still beating, irregular but functional. She's cutting the arterial connections one at a time. Apostolos, Voss whispers. His eyes find mine, barely focused. The voicemail. Your mother, what did she say? Nothing. I couldn't unmute fast enough, but you kept trying. Yes, that's the difference. His breath rattles. Between you and me, you kept trying to hear. I kept trying to speak. Noemi makes the final cut. The heart comes free. She lifts it with both hands. Still warm, still beating. 300 grams of tissue that could trigger a detonator or become dead weight in 4 minutes. Done, she says. Voss's eyes close. His breathing stops mid-exhale, like he waited just long enough to finish the sentence. Noemi places the heart in a sterile container from her pack, seals it, the tissue visible through the clear case, pulsing. Slower now, every beat precious. We move, she says. I grab the detonator case. The charges are already wired, already programmed. All they need is the biometric trigger. The living heartbeat pressed against the scanner for 8 seconds. 8 seconds to end the battery's broadcast. 8 seconds to stop the false hope that's been luring survivors to their deaths. 8 seconds and a 300-meter sprint through carrier-infested dark. Let's go. We leave Voss on the desk. No ceremony. No last words. Just another body in a facility full of bodies. Another convenient component that served its function and stopped. The corridor outside is chaos. Carriers everywhere. Dozens. Frozen mid-stride are starting to move. The partial power creates patches of light and shadow, safe zones and death zones. We have to navigate the gaps between. Noemi leads. She has better night vision. I follow close, the detonator case in one hand, the other hand on her shoulder. The heart container tucked against her ribs. Beating. 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 A carrier lunges from the left, still groggy from stasis. Noemi sidesteps, doesn't waste energy on the kill. We're not here to fight, just to reach the tower, 50 meters. The infection makes my legs unsteady. I count steps instead of prime numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4. The rhythm helps, keeps me focused. A light flickers ahead, bright. A custodian must have activated a photo grenade. Single-use magnesium flash. It stuns the carriers for 5 seconds. Also makes them visible. There are more than I thought. Way more. Through the middle, Noemi says. That's suicide. That's the only path. She's right. The carriers form a wall between us and the tower exit. We either go through or we wait here for the heart tissue to degrade. No third option. On 3, she says. Why is it always 3? Because 2 is too fast and 4 is too slow. What about 5? Apostolos. Right. Sorry. Delirious. 3, she says. We run. The carriers are still stunned from the photo grenade. 5 seconds of cataleptic confusion. We use 4 of them. Right. Weaving between bodies. Noemi's hand on the heart container. My hand on her shoulder. Moving as one unit through the gap. The 5th second ends. A carrier grabs my jacket. I spin. The detonator case swings out, catches the carrier in the temple. It drops. We keep moving. 75 meters. The tower exit is visible now. Steel door with the battery insignia, red pulse above it. Active. Broadcasting. Luring the next wave of desperate survivors who think salvation is real. Almost there, Noemi says. Then the floor shakes. Not carriers. Something bigger. The compound's structural integrity failing. Too much weight, too many bodies. The surgical wing where we started is probably collapsing. Faster, I say. We sprint. The infection burns through my veins, but adrenaline overrides it. 100 meters, 125. The red pulse gets brighter. Closer. A section of ceiling caves in ahead, blocks the path. We veer left, through a service corridor. Tighter space. Darker. The carriers here are fresher. Faster. Noemi's hand leaves the heart container, grabs her dark blade, cuts through the first carrier without stopping. Second. Third. The blade stays clean, no reflective surface, just matte black ceramic disappearing into flesh and pulling free. How much time? I call. 90 seconds on the heart, maybe less. We burst through the service corridor exit. The tower is right there. 50 meters of open ground, wind turbines spinning overhead, moonlight reflecting off the blades, creating moving patterns of light and shadow. The carriers in the field are waking, following the light patterns. Confused, aggressive. We can't cross that, I say. Noemi looks at the tower, at the field, at the heart container in her hands, the tissue pulsing slower now, degrading. We don't cross it, she says. We use it. Use what? The light. She pulls something from her pack. The paper crown, crushed, bent, but still recognizable. She unfolds it, holds it up. What are you? She throws it, hard, toward the left edge of the field. The white paper catches moonlight, reflects it. The carriers track the movement, shift left, following the stimulus. The right side of the field clears. Now, she says. We run the right edge. The carriers are still tracking the paper crown. 15 seconds of distraction. We need 10. We make it in 8. The tower door is reinforced. Locked. Noemi slams the heart container against it. Open it. I try the handle. Lock. Try the panel. Biometric scanner. I need use Voss's heart. That's for the detonator. Use it now or we don't get inside to plant the charges. She's right. I press the heart container against the scanner. The tissue responds. Still warm. Still electrical. The lock disengages. We push inside. The tower interior is massive. 3 stories of radio equipment, transmitters, amplifiers, the broadcast station in the center. And at the top, the antenna array, spinning with the wind turbines, creating the light patterns that wake carriers for miles. Where do we plant the charges? I ask. Noemi scans the room, points to the central support column. There, structural weak point. Charges there will collapse the whole array. We move to the column. She pulls the charges from her pack, starts wiring them to the support beams. Her hands shake now, not fear. Exhaustion, or maybe something else. The paper crown, I say. You kept it. Of course I kept it. Even though it was just a joke. It wasn't just a joke. She doesn't look up, keeps wiring. It was the first thing you gave me that wasn't transactional. No barter, no trade. Just, she stops. Just because. Queen of maybe. Shut up and help me with these wires. I hold the charges in place while she connects them. The detonator case between us. The heart container beside it. The tissue barely pulsing now. 60 seconds of viability left. Maybe 50. When we trigger this, Noemi says, the blast radius will cover the tower and most of the field. We won't make it back to the service corridor in time. I know. There's a zip line. Emergency evacuation route runs from the tower roof to the perimeter wall. How do you know that? Matteo's notebook. He mapped the facility before. Her voice cracks. Before they took him. She finishes the last connection. Steps back. The charges are set. All that's left is the biometric trigger. 8 seconds of contact, she says. That's all it needs. I pick up the heart container. The tissue is barely moving now. 40 seconds, maybe 30. Every beat could be the last viable one. Together? I ask. Noemi's hand covers mine on the container. Together. We press the heart against the detonator scanner. The tissue responds, weak but functional. The scanner reads the electrical pattern. 1 second, 2, 3. The building shakes. Carriers have reached the tower, pounding on the doors. The steel is reinforced, but numbers don't care about engineering. 4 seconds, 5, 6. Noemi pulls out her last cigarette, doesn't light it, just holds it. For after, she says, if there is an after. The scanner beeps. Almost there. Just 2 more seconds. The door buckles. The first carrier pushes through. Then another. They see us. The light from the equipment. The movement. 7 seconds. Run, Noemi says. The cigarette goes back in her pocket. Not yet. 8 seconds. The detonator locks in. Sequence initiated. 60-second countdown. The display flashes red. Red pulse. Red everything. We run up the stairs, 3 stories. My legs are barely working. The infection is spread to my motor control. Noemi's pulling me, half carrying me. The carriers are right behind. 2nd floor, 3rd floor, the roof access door, locked. Seriously? I say. Noemi kicks it once, twice. The lock breaks on the 3rd hit. We spill onto the roof, wind turbines spinning overhead, the zip line anchored to the far edge. There, she points. We run across the roof. The countdown is at 40 seconds. The carriers pour through the roof access behind us. Dozens, maybe more. We reach the zip line. It's a simple harness system. 2 hooks, 1 line, runs 300 meters to the perimeter wall. You first, I say, together. Noemi, together or not at all. She clips in. I clip in beside her. We're pressed against each other. Her hand finds mine, squeezes. If we die, she says, we die as... Don't finish that sentence. Why not? Because we're not dying. 20 seconds. We jump. The zip line catches. We drop fast. Too fast. The wind turbines create downdrafts that push against us. The carriers on the roof are still coming. Some fall off trying to follow. 10 seconds. We're halfway across. The perimeter wall visible ahead. The ground blurring below. My hand is locked with Noemi's. Her face is inches from mine. The crown joke, she says over the wind. It was funny. Finally. Terrible but funny. 5 seconds. We reach the perimeter wall. Crash into the landing platform. Roll. My shoulder takes the impact. Noemi's head bounces off my chest. We're tangled in the harness lines. 3 seconds. Cover your head, I say. 2 seconds. We press against each other. Foreheads touching. Silent vow. The verbal pact from the ravine made physical. Real. 1 second. The tower explodes. Chapter 26, Paper Crown, Real Queen. The shockwave hits like a wall. Throws us against the perimeter railing. My back slams metal. Noemi's weight crushes against me. Protecting her or being protected. Hard to tell. The world is fire and sound and pressure. Then silence. Not real silence. My ears are ringing, but compared to the explosion, it might as well be quiet. I open my eyes. The sky is full of debris. Burning pieces of the battery tower falling like rain, like ash, like something that was supposed to be salvation turning to char. Noemi? My voice sounds underwater. She stirs, lifts her head. Her forehead is pressed against mine. Has been this whole time. The silent vow we made at the moment of detonation. Choosing to hold on instead of letting go. Still here, she says. Good. We untangle from the harness lines. Stand slowly. Everything hurts, but nothing feels broken. The landing platform is intact. Barely. The railing behind us is twisted, scorched. If we'd been standing, we would have gone over. The tower is gone. Just gone. The central support column collapsed exactly like Noemi planned. The antenna array came down with it. The wind turbines are still spinning, but they're dark now. No power. No red pulse, no broadcast signal luring survivors to their deaths. We did it, I say. Noemi doesn't answer. She's looking at the debris field, the burning pieces, the carriers that were caught in the blast radius. Some are still moving. Most aren't. The ones that survived are wandering, confused. Without the broadcast signal, they have no direction, no purpose. They're free, she says quietly. They're dead. Same thing. She pulls away from the railing, moves to the edge of the platform. The paper crown falls from her pocket, crushed beyond recognition now, burned at the edges from the blast heat. She picks it up. smooths it out as much as possible. Queen of maybe, I say, king of terrible jokes. She looks at me, really looks. Her face is covered in ash, blood at her hairline, but she's smiling, small, real. The first genuine smile I've seen from her since the greenhouse dome. We should go, she says. Where? Away. Before the custodians regroup, before more carriers come. She's right. The explosion will draw attention. Every survivor and scavenger within 10 miles will see the fire. Want to investigate, want to salvage, we need to be gone before they arrive, but I don't move. Can't. The infection is deep now, spreading through my thoughts, making everything slow and heavy. Apostolos, Noemi's smile fades. Hey, stay with me. I'm here. No. You're fading. She's right. I can feel it. The contamination she introduced to save me from becoming Voss's eternal supply. It worked. They can't use my blood anymore, but it's also destroying me from the inside. How long, I ask. I don't know, days maybe, or hours. I've never seen this progression before. Will it hurt? Probably. Good, I echo Voss's words. I'd hate to miss that part. Noemi moves closer, places her hand on my chest, over my heart, feeling the beat, irregular but present. I did this to you. You freed me. I contaminated you. Same thing. She looks up. Her eyes are wet. Not crying, just close. That's not funny. Wasn't trying to be. We stand there, her hand on my heart, my hand covering hers, the tower burning behind us, the carriers wandering below. The world's still broken, but maybe slightly less so. The paper crown, I say. Put it on. It's destroyed. Put it on anyway. She hesitates, then lifts the crushed crown, places it on her head. It sits crooked, burned, ridiculous, perfect. There, I say, now you're officially Queen of Maybe. And what does that make you? Your subject or your equal, haven't decided. Decide later. She takes the crown off, looks at it, the bent cardboard, the child's drawing, the joke that became something else. We should keep moving, in a minute. Apostolos, 1 minute. Please. She nods, doesn't argue. We stand together on the landing platform, watching the battery burn. The debris creates patterns in the sky, false aurora, light that looks beautiful but isn't, light that's just destruction given form. Survivors will see it, will think it means something, hope or warning or sign. They'll come looking. Some will find what's left of the custodian compound, the contaminated hearts, the rejected serums, the surgical theaters. They'll know the truth or they'll make up new lies. Doesn't matter. The broadcast is ended. The false hope is silenced. What comes next is up to them. Okay, I say, let's move. We climb down from the landing platform. The perimeter wall has a service ladder, old but functional. Noemi goes first. I follow slower. Each rung takes effort. Focus. The infection makes my hands clumsy. At the bottom, we pause. Look back one final time. The tower is a skeleton now. Just framework and fire. The wind turbines still spinning above it like they don't understand they're obsolete. Noemi places the paper crown on the nearest piece of debris. A chunk of antenna array. She positions it carefully, like she's crowning it, giving the wreckage something it doesn't deserve. Why? I ask. Because Voss wanted to be remembered, wanted his work to mean something. She steps back. This is what he gets. A paper crown on burning metal. King of nothing. That's dark. That's accurate. We turn away from the fire, start walking. The woods are ahead. Thick, dark, carrier-infested probably, but safer than staying here. Safer than being found. My legs hold for 50 meters, then buckle. Noemi catches me. Easy. I'm fine. You're collapsing. Semantics. She half carries me to a fallen log, lowers me down. The wood is cold, damp. The infection makes me shiver despite the fire's heat behind us. We need to find shelter, she says. Somewhere I can treat the contamination. You can't treat this. I can slow it. Noemi, I can slow it, she repeats. Firmer. I did this to you. I can fix it. You freed me. That's different. She kneels in front of me, her hands on my knees, grounding. You don't get to give up, not after everything. I'm not giving up. I'm being realistic. Realistic is what Voss called his operation. Pragmatic. Efficient. Realistic. Her voice cracks. I'm not interested in realistic. I'm interested in you staying alive long enough for me to figure out what happens next. What does happen next? I don't know, but I'd like you to be there for it. The fire behind us shifts. A section of tower collapses, sends sparks into the sky. They float like stars, like the voicemails I deleted, like everything we've left behind. The verbal pact, I say. Die together. You still mean that? Yes. Then you have to let me. Not yet. Noemi. Not yet, she repeats. We made it this far. Just stay a little longer, please. Her forehead drops to my knees. Her shoulders shake. Not crying, just breaking. The professional mask finally cracking. The detached clinician admitting she's human too. I place my hand on her head, feel her hair, ash and blood and sweat. Okay. I'll stay. For now. She lifts her head. Her eyes meet mine. For now is enough. We sit like that, her kneeling, me on the log, the tower burning behind us, the false aurora lighting the sky. Our foreheads touch again. Third time tonight, verbal pact made physical, made real. The world is still broken, but we're still here, and maybe that's enough. Chapter 27, The Burning Signal. The fire burns for hours. We watch from the tree line, far enough to be safe, close enough to see the aftermath. The debris field glows, orange and red, like a second sunset that refuses to end. Carriers wander through it, drawn to the heat maybe, or just confused. Without the broadcast, they have no pattern, no direction. They'll scatter, Noemi says. Spread out. Some will reach settlements. Can't stop that, no. But we ended the machine that was concentrating them, making them into weapons. She's quiet for a moment. That counts for something. Does it? It has to. I count the carriers. 12 visible. More in the shadows, probably. The pulse rule still applies. Dark equals stasis, but the fire creates too much light, keeps them active, restless. We should move, I say. Before dawn. You can barely stand. I can walk. For how long? Long enough. She doesn't argue, just helps me up. My legs hold. Barely. The infection is everywhere now, not just my veins, my thoughts, my balance. Everything feels delayed, like I'm watching myself from 3 seconds behind. We move into the woods, away from the fire. The darkness is immediate, complete, the kind that makes your eyes ache trying to adjust. Noemi takes my hand, her night vision guiding us both. Do you hear that? She asks. I listen. Under the wind, under the distant carrier sounds. A hum, mechanical. Generator? Or radio. Someone's nearby. We move toward the sound, careful, every step deliberate. The hum gets louder, more distinct, not generator, something else, music maybe, or voices. We break through the tree line, find a clearing, small, hidden. A group of survivors clustered around a battery-powered radio, maybe 15 people, children, adults. One elderly woman, they're listening to static. No, not static, the absence of static, the silence where the battery broadcast used to be. It stopped, one of them says, a young man, maybe 20. The signal just stopped. Equipment failure? Another voice. Woman. Older. Or someone shut it down. They're scared. I can hear it in their voices. The battery broadcast was their hope, their promise of evacuation. Now it's gone, and they don't know what that means. The elderly woman notices us. Her hand goes to a knife at her belt. Who's there? Just passing through, Noemi says. Calm, non-threatening. The tower, the young man says. Was that you? We could lie. Probably should, but I'm too tired, too contaminated, too done with pretending. Yes, I say. The group goes silent. 15 sets of eyes on us. Weighing, judging, deciding if we're saviors or saboteurs. Why? The elderly woman asks. Because it was a trap. The battery wasn't calling for evacuation. It was luring people to be harvested. Organs, blood, components. I lean against a tree. The bark digs into my back. We ended it. You ended our hope, someone says. A woman holding a child. The kid is maybe 5, 6. Too young to understand what hope means, but old enough to feel its absence. We ended the lie, Noemi corrects. Hope based on false promises isn't hope. It's just another way to die. The young man stands, moves closer. He's studying my face. The way the infection makes my veins visible. Dark lines under the skin. You're sick. Yes. Contaminated? Yes. Then you should leave before you spread it. He's not wrong, but I don't move. Can't. The tree is the only thing holding me upright. Noemi steps between us. He's not contagious. The contamination is synthetic, introduced to stop him from being used as a blood source. You poisoned him? The woman with the child, horrified. I freed him. That's the same thing. I know. The group shifts, uncomfortable. They're trying to decide if we're dangerous, if the young man is right, if we should be driven away or welcomed or ignored. The elderly woman makes the decision. Sit, both of you. You look like you're about to collapse. We don't want to intrude, Noemi says. Too late for that. You destroyed our only lead on evacuation. Least you can do is explain why. We sit. The group gives us space but stays close, the radio between us. Silent now. No static, no broadcast, just the wind through the speaker. I tell them everything. The battery, the custodians, Voss, the hearts labeled with last words, the eternal serum that required constant supply. The way hope became currency and currency became death. They listen. Don't interrupt. When I finish, the silence is heavier than before. So there's no evacuation, the young man says finally. No ship, no rescue, no nothing. No. The woman with the child holds the kid tighter. Then what do? You survive, Noemi says. Same as before, but without someone exploiting the effort. That's not an answer. It's the only answer I have. The elderly woman is quiet, her eyes on the fire in the distance, the false aurora still glowing. The tower falling. Everyone will see it. They'll come looking. Scavengers, custodians, carriers drawn to the light. Probably. And you two? What will you do? I look at Noemi. She looks at me. We haven't talked about it, haven't planned past this moment. The mission is complete. The battery is destroyed. The broadcast ended. Now we're just two people in the woods with nowhere to go. We'll figure it out, I say. The elderly woman nods, like that's the answer she expected. She reaches into her pack, pulls out a bottle. Water or alcohol. Hard to tell in the dark. Take this. You'll need it more than us. We can't. You can and you will. She pushes the bottle toward Noemi. You ended the lie. That deserves something. Noemi takes the bottle. Her hands shake slightly. Thank you. Don't thank me. Just keep moving. Don't let the infection take him without a fight. We stand, ready to leave. The group watches, still wary, still uncertain, but not hostile, just tired, like everyone else. The tower, the young man calls as we reach the tree line. When it fell, did it look like anything? What do you mean, I ask. I don't know, a sign or a symbol, something that means this wasn't just destruction. I think about the paper crown, the debris, the false aurora in the sky. It looked like an ending. Not a beginning? No, just an ending. What comes next is up to you. We disappear into the woods, leave them with their silent radio and their questions. The fire still burns behind us. Will burn for days, probably. Everyone within 100 miles will see it. Will wonder, will come looking for meaning in the ash. They won't find it. But maybe they'll find something else, something smaller, more immediate, more real. Maybe they'll find each other, or maybe they'll just scatter like the carriers. Either way, it's not our responsibility anymore. That was hard, Noemi says once we're far enough away. What was? Telling them there's no rescue, no hope, just survival. It's the truth. Truth doesn't make it easier, no, but it's what they needed to hear. We walk for another hour, maybe more. Time is hard to track in the dark. The infection makes it worse. Seconds stretch, minutes compress. I count steps instead. 1, 2, 3, 12, 27, 41. Prime numbers sneak in without permission. We need to stop, Noemi says. You're barely walking. I can make it. To where? We don't have a destination. She's right. We ended the battery, destroyed the tower, completed the mission, but we never planned what came after. Never thought past the explosion. Die together. That was the plan. The verbal pact. But we're still alive. There, Noemi points. A structure in the distance, partially collapsed. Might be an old ranger station or cabin. We can rest there. We stagger toward it. The last 100 meters feel like miles. My legs give out twice. Noemi catches me both times. By the time we reach the structure, I'm more carried than walking. Inside is better than expected. Roof intact, no windows but the walls hold, dry, relatively clean. Noemi lowers me to the floor, my back against the wall, breathing hard. "Stay here," she says. "I'll secure the perimeter." She's gone before I can answer. I close my eyes, listen to her footsteps circling the structure, checking for weaknesses, threats, anything that might compromise our safety. When she returns, she's carrying branches. Fuel for a fire, probably. But she doesn't light it. Too risky. The light would draw carriers. "We'll rest here tonight," she says. "Move again at dawn." Move where? I don't know. Somewhere away from the custodians. Somewhere we can... She stops. Somewhere we can figure out what happens next. She sits beside me, her shoulder against mine, the bottle the elderly woman gave us between her hands. She opens it, sniffs. "Alcohol. High proof. For wounds or drinking?" "Both, probably." She takes a drink, passes it to me. I take a smaller sip. The burn helps, clears my head slightly, or makes me think it does. "The paper crown," I say. "You left it on the debris. It seemed right. Queen of maybe crowning a dead tower, king of terrible metaphors. That one was decent, actually. It was." She takes another drink. "Everything we did, the contamination, the sabotage, the tower, it all led here, to this cabin, to us having no idea what comes next. Is that bad? I don't know. Ask me tomorrow. What if tomorrow's the same? Then ask me the day after." We sit in silence. The bottle passes between us. The alcohol burns less with each sip, or maybe we're just getting used to it. "Noemi?" I say after a while. "Yeah, thank you for the contamination, for saving me from becoming Voss's supply. You're dying from it. But I'm dying free. That's different." She doesn't answer, just leans her head against my shoulder. Her breathing evens out. After a few minutes, I realize she's asleep. Actually asleep. Back, not resting, not watchful, just gone. I stay awake, keep watch, count the hours by tracking the infection's progress. The burn spreads up my arm, across my chest, toward my heart. Dawn comes slowly, gray light filtering through gaps in the walls. Noemi stirs, lifts her head, blinks. "You didn't sleep," she says. "Couldn't. The infection?" "Among other things." She checks my pulse, my temperature. Her fingers are cold against my wrist. "It's progressing faster than I thought." "How long?" "Days. Maybe a week if we're lucky." "That's not long enough to figure out what happens next." "Then we'll figure it faster." She helps me stand. My legs cooperate. Barely. We leave the cabin behind, move deeper into the woods, away from the fire, away from the battery, away from everything we've known for the past 30 chapters. Behind us, the false aurora is fading, the fire is dying, and we're still here, still walking, still trying to figure out what comes next. Chapter 28, Map on Skin. The infection reads my back on the third day, not just the burning, the actual visible spread. Noemi sees it first when she's checking the blistered skin from the blast. The ink map she drew is gone, destroyed, but underneath, the contamination has created new patterns. Dark veins branching like trees, like roots, like something growing instead of dying. "It's beautiful," she says, then catches herself. "I don't mean..." "I know what you mean." She traces one of the veins with her finger, gentle, following the path from my spine to my shoulder blade. The touch doesn't hurt, should but doesn't. "The map is gone," I say. "Yes. We're officially mapeless, officially free." I think about that. Mapeless and free, two states that should be terrifying but somehow aren't. We've been following fragments and burned edges and hope for so long. Maybe having none of it is easier. "We need a new direction," Noemi says. "Why?" "Because aimless wandering will get us caught or killed, or we'll find something we weren't looking for." She's quiet, her fingers still tracing the contamination patterns. "You're delirious." "Probably, but I'm not wrong." She pulls her hand back, sits beside me on the fallen log we've been using as a bench, our campsite for the night. No fire, no light, just darkness and the sound of wind through trees. "The dog tags," she says suddenly. Reaching into her pocket, she pulls them out, her brother's tags. bent into an arrowhead, the one she refused to shoot. I've been carrying these since the greenhouse, using them as, I don't know, penance maybe, or reminder. Of what? That I couldn't save him, that I hid while the custodians took him, that I'm here and he's not. She holds the tags up. They catch what little moonlight filters through the canopy. The edges are sharp. Deadly. Deadly. She could kill someone with them if she tried. I need to let him go, she says. You don't have to. I do, because carrying him is making me treat everyone else like they're already lost, including you. She looks at me. I cataloged you as B negative before I saw you as Apostolos. That's not okay. You were protecting yourself. I was being a coward. That's not the same thing. She stands, walks to the edge of the clearing. The contaminated blisters on my back pull when I turn to watch her. She's holding the dog tags, weighing them, deciding. What do you want to do? I ask. Something permanent, something that says he's not a weapon anymore. Not ammunition, not. Her voice cracks. Not a piece of metal I keep as punishment. I think about the Nokia, the 3 voicemails I deleted, my mother's voice I couldn't save. Bury them. What? Bury the tags. Here, in this clearing. Make it mean something. Noemi turns. Her face is barely visible in the dark. That's sentimental. So? Sentiment is a luxury. You don't believe that anymore. She's quiet for a long moment, then she kneels, starts digging with her hands. The soil is soft, damp. She goes maybe 6 inches deep, then places the dog tags in the hole, covers them, pats the dirt smooth. No words, no ceremony, just the act itself. When she stands, she's shaking. I feel like I just buried him again. Maybe you did. How is that better? Because this time you chose it. Last time you didn't have a choice. She walks back to me, sits. Her hands are dirty, soil under her fingernails. She doesn't wipe them clean. Your turn, she says. What? Something permanent, something that says you're not just blood type and spare parts. I think about the Nokia, long dead, battery drained after the broadcast. No more voicemails, no more static. Just an empty shell in my pocket that I keep because letting go feels impossible. I deleted the voicemails, I say. That was permanent. But you kept the phone. It's just plastic and circuits now. Harmless. Nothing we carry is harmless. She takes my hand, turns it over. The phantom ache in my missing fingertip pulses. That finger. You cut it off yourself. First chapter. Testing if the infection was in your blood. I remember. Why that finger? It was the least useful. Ring finger. No practical function. That's a lie. She's right. I chose that finger because my mother used to hold it when I was a child, walking through crowds, grocery stores, anywhere that felt overwhelming. Not my whole hand, just that one finger. Her way of saying I'm here without smothering me. I cut it off because keeping it felt like keeping her, I say. And I couldn't hold on to something that was already gone. But you kept the phone. The phone is different. How? I don't have an answer, or I do, but saying it out loud makes it real, makes it hurt. The phone meant I tried, that I was reaching for her even when it was too late, that I didn't just give up. And the finger? The finger meant I was already alone. Noemi's quiet, her hand still holding mine. Her thumb brushes the stump where the fingertip used to be. The phantom ache settles just slightly. You're not alone now, she says. I know, so maybe you don't need the phone anymore either. Maybe. But I don't take it out. Don't offer it to the dirt beside Mateo's dog tags. Not yet. Some parts of letting go take longer than others. The map on my back, I say instead. It's gone. Burned off. But you could, if you wanted, you could mark something else. Something that says we're not following fragments anymore. Like what? I don't know. You're the artist. She considers it. Her medical kit is nearby. She pulls out the last clean needle. The ink we made from berries and ash is long gone. But she has something else. Charcoal from an old fire. Mixed with water it might work. This will hurt, she says. Everything hurts. That's not new. She mixes the charcoal, tests the consistency on her own arm. The mark is dark, visible, permanent enough. What do you want? She asks. Something simple, something that means we're not commodities, not supply chains, just human. Yeah, she thinks, then starts marking my back, over the contamination veins, over the blistered skin where the map used to be. The needle drags, burns. But I don't move. She works for maybe 10 minutes. When she finishes, she sits back. Look, I can't, obviously. It's on my back. But she describes it. 2 circles, one for you, one for me. Not separate, not merged, just connected. Like a Venn diagram? Like a relationship. I think about the paper crown, the verbal pact, the forehead touches that became our way of saying things we couldn't speak. It's perfect. It's crude. It's perfect, I repeat. She caps the charcoal mixture, stores the needle. Her hands are shaking slightly, from exhaustion or emotion, hard to tell. We should sleep. You need rest. So do you. One of us needs to keep watch. Then we take shifts, 2 hours each. That's not enough for you. The infection is going to progress whether I sleep or not. Might as well be useful while I can. She doesn't argue, just nods, lies down on the ground beside me, uses her pack as a pillow. Her hand finds mine in the dark. Holds it, not romantic, not desperate, just connection. Apostolos, she says after a minute. Yeah. When the infection takes you, and it will, I want you to know that contaminating your blood was the hardest thing I've ever done, and I'd do it again, every time. I know. Good. Her breathing evens out. 2 minutes later, she's asleep. I stay awake. Keep watch. Count the contamination's progress by tracking the burn. Up my spine, across my ribs, toward my lungs. Days left. Maybe a week if I'm lucky. The interlocking circles on my back itch. Healing or infected. Doesn't matter. They're there. Permanent. A map that doesn't lead anywhere except toward each other. That's enough. That has to be enough. Chapter 29, Voicemail to the Living. The Nokia dies on the 7th day. Not the battery. The whole device. Circuitry fried from moisture, or age, or just because plastic and metal don't last forever. I discover it when I try to power it on. Force of habit. The screen stays black, no boot chime, no static, no ghosts, just dead weight in my pocket. What are you doing? Noemi asks. She's checking the contamination spread. Daily ritual now. Tracking the veins as they branch toward my heart. Saying goodbye. To what? I hold up the Nokia. This. Finally. She takes it from me. Turns it over in her hands. The case is cracked. Screen shattered. But it held together longer than it should have. Longer than most things. Your mom's voicemails were on here, she says. Yeah. And you deleted them before the broadcast. Yeah. Why? I think about the answer. The real one, not the easy one, because keeping them meant I was still waiting for her to call back. Still hoping she'd somehow, wake up, take it back, make the ending different. That's not how endings work. I know, but hope doesn't care about logic. She hands the Nokia back. What will you do with it? I don't know. Bury it like you buried Mateo's tags? Throw it in a river? Keep carrying it until I can't carry anything anymore? Or you could use it. For what? It's dead. For something living. She pulls out a salvaged handheld radio from her pack. Battery-powered. Basic. The kind used for emergency broadcasts before the world ended. We have this, and we have the last functioning battery. We could record something. A message. Instructions for other survivors. Instructions for what? How to live without towers, without lies, without believing in evacuation ships and eternal serums and all the other promises that turn people into commodities. I look at the handheld, then at the dead Nokia. You want me to record a message, using my mother's phone as, what? Permission? Closure? I want you to choose what you leave behind, before the infection makes that choice for you. She's not wrong. The contamination is in my lungs now. My breathing gets shallow when I walk, talk, exist. Days left has become hours, maybe one more day if I'm stubborn. What would I even say? I ask. The truth. Same thing you told that group by the fire, that hope based on lies is just another way to die, that survival means staying human even when it's easier not to. That's bleak. That's honest. I take the handheld, test the weight, lighter than the Nokia, less history, but maybe that's better. Maybe starting with something new means the message won't be haunted by everything I couldn't save. Okay, I say. I'll do it. Now? Why not? I might not have later. Noemi sets up the handheld, finds a clear frequency, tests the broadcast range. Limited but functional. Anyone within 20 miles with a working radio will hear it. Hear it. Ready? She asks. I nod. She activates the recording. Red light blinks. I'm live. Broadcasting to nobody and everybody. I don't plan the words. Just let them come. This is Apostolos. If you're hearing this, you're still alive. That's more than most people can say. Congratulations. You've survived another day in a world that wants you dead or converted or harvested for parts. The battery tower is gone. We destroyed it. If you were hoping for evacuation, I'm sorry. There is no ship. There is no rescue. There is only what you do next. Some of you will give up. That's understandable. Some of you will keep fighting. That's admirable. Some of you will build new towers. New lies. New ways to exploit hope. That's predictable. But here's what I learned, the hard way. Through blood and contamination and watching people I cared about make impossible choices. Stay human. Even when it's cheaper to be a commodity. Even when someone offers you eternity in exchange for pieces of yourself. Even when the easiest choice is to stop caring because caring hurts too much. Stay human. Hold hands in the dark. Share cigarettes even when they're precious. Make stupid jokes about paper crowns. Bury the people you've lost so you can stop carrying them like ammunition. Stay human. Not because it's efficient, not because it's strategic, but because the moment you stop being human, you become part of the machine. And the machine grinds everything down to spare parts and last words and hearts in jars labeled with promises they can't keep. I'm dying. Contaminated blood. My own choice. Or someone else's choice to save me. Doesn't matter. The point is, I'm dying free. Not as supply, not as stock, just as a man who made it this far because someone else decided I was worth keeping alive. Find your someone, or be someone's someone. Build that before you build towers, before you build machines, before you build anything that requires people to be less than people. That's it. That's the message. Stay human. The rest is just survival. I stop. The red light blinks. Recording complete. Noemi deactivates the broadcast. The handheld goes silent. That was good, she says quietly. That was rambling. That was honest. She takes the handheld, programs it to loop the message. It'll broadcast until the battery dies. Then someone else can choose whether to power it again or let it fade. What about the Nokia, she asks. I look at the dead phone in my hand. The cracked screen, the weight of 3 deleted voicemails and a mother who couldn't say goodbye. I'm letting it go, I say. How? Same way you let go of Matteo. Same way we let go of the tower and the mission and the idea that any of this has neat endings. Walk to the edge of the clearing. The contamination makes my legs unsteady, but I make it. I dig a shallow hole, maybe 4 inches. Place the Nokia inside, cover it with dirt, pat it smooth, no ceremony, no words, just the act. When I stand, Noemi's beside me, her hand finds mine. Feel different? Lighter, like I'm carrying less. That's good. Is it? I think so. Being unburdened, having nothing left to protect or preserve or drag behind you, that's freedom. Or it's just dying with empty pockets. Maybe it's both. We stand over the buried Nokia. The sun is setting. First real sunset we've watched in days. No fires, no false auroras, just natural light fading into natural dark. How long, I ask. Until the infection takes you? Tomorrow, maybe. The day after, if you're stubborn. I'm very stubborn. I know. Will you stay? Until, yes. Even though watching someone die is, I'll stay, she repeats, firmer. We made a pact. Die together. I'm not breaking it just because you're going first. That's dark. That's the deal. We watch the sunset finish. The sky goes from orange to purple to black. Stars come out, more than I remember. Or maybe I'm just paying attention for the first time in months. Noemi? I say. Yeah? Thank you for the contamination, for the tower, for staying when you could have run, for my voice cracks, for making me believe I was worth more than my blood type. You are worth more. I know that now. Because of you. She leans her head against my shoulder. Good. Don't forget it. I won't. Even when I'm gone. Especially when you're gone. We stand like that, under stars and silence and the weight of everything we've survived. The handheld broadcasts in loops somewhere behind us, my voice telling strangers to stay human, to build connections before towers. I hope someone listens. I hope it matters. But even if it doesn't, we tried. And trying is enough. It has to be. Chapter 30, The Long Scavenge. 3 years later, Grove is bigger than Noemi remembers when she started. 28 trees now, all fruit-bearing, all positioned for maximum sunlight and water access, all growing on the exact spot where the battery tower used to stand. The kid is maybe 7, 8. Hard to track time when you're teaching instead of counting, but the child learns fast, asks good questions, the kind Apostolos used to ask before. She stops that thought, redirects, the way she's learned to do. Noemi, the kid calls. This one's ready. She walks over. The sapling is 2 feet tall, apple tree, grown from seed. The kid's been watering it daily, talking to it, treating it like it matters. Good work, she says. Can we plant it now? Where do you think it should go? The kid considers, walks the perimeter, studies the spacing, the light patterns, everything Noemi's taught over the past 2 years since she started teaching alone. There, the kid points. Between the pear and the cherry, they'll protect it while it's small. Smart. Let's dig. They dig together. The soil is rich, ash from the explosion mixed with decomposition. Death feeding life, the way Apostolos said it should work, before the contamination took him, before she buried him beside the ranger station with his backpack as a marker. The kid is careful, precise, asks questions about depth and spacing and root systems. Noemi answers each one, same way her father taught her, same way she taught Apostolos during their brief time together. Knowledge passed down, not hoarded, not commodified, just shared. They place the sapling, fill the hole, pat the soil, the kid stands back. It'll have apples in 3 years, maybe 4, depends on the growing season. But it will have them, eventually. Eventually. The kid smiles, wide, genuine, the kind of smile that doesn't carry the weight of towers or serums or contaminated blood, just knows about trees and soil and patience. Noemi envies that, the not carrying, but she doesn't regret the carrying either. Both are necessary, one to move forward, one to remember why. Noemi? The kid is looking at her arm, the interlocking circles she copied there after Apostolos died, matching his. What's that mark mean? It means I'm not alone. But you're by yourself right now. Alone and by yourself aren't the same thing. The kid frowns. I don't get it. You will, when you're older, when you find someone worth marking your skin for. Was that Apostolos? Yeah. The one you buried by the station? That's him. He taught you about the grove. We taught each other. She corrects. He taught me that people matter more than systems. I taught him that teaching matters more than scavenging. We built this together, even if he's not here to see it finished. The kid nods. Processing. Can I see his backpack? Noemi hesitates. The backpack is all she has left. Worn. Empty. The straps frame years of carrying supplies that don't exist anymore. She keeps it by the station, can't quite bury it with him, can't quite throw it away. Later, she says, after we water. They water the new sapling, 1 bottle each. The kid is precise, doesn't waste a drop. Water is precious, but not scarce anymore. They've built collection systems, rain to barrels to trees, closed loop. Apostolos' idea. Most good ideas were. Can I go play now? The kid asks. Stay in sight. I will. The kid runs toward the tree line. There's a rope swing on one of the older trees, simple, functional. The kid's been improving it, adding knots, handles, making it better without being asked. Noemi watches for a moment, then turns back to the grove. 28 trees, more planned. They've mapped space for 50, Maybe more if they expand past the hill. Long-term thinking. Years. Decades. The kind of planning that assumes the kid will be here to see the fruit. So that other kids will come. That the grove will outlive everyone who planted it. That's the point. That's always been the point. Footsteps behind her. She knows them. The settlement leader. Older man. Practical. Visits monthly to check progress and trade supplies. New tree? He asks. Kids project. Good placement. The kid's learning fast. He nods, looks at the grove, at the station beyond, at the backpack hanging by the door like a retired flag. You ever think about leaving? Teaching somewhere else? Your skills would be valuable in the northern settlements. No. Why not? Because this is where we planted. This is where he's buried. This is where the work continues. She looks at the trees. Moving would mean starting over. This isn't about starting over. It's about finishing what we started. Even though he's gone, especially because he's gone. The leader is quiet, then reaches into his pack, pulls out a bottle, alcohol, high proof. Found this in a salvage run, thought you might want it. Noemi takes it. The glass is cold, clean, full. What's it for? Whatever you need it for. Sterilization, trade, memorial. He shrugs. Your choice. She looks at the bottle. Thinks about the elderly woman who gave them alcohol 3 years ago, how they used it for wounds and courage and letting go. Thank you, she says. He leaves. She stands alone in the grove. The kid is still swinging. The trees are still growing. So the world is still broken, but less so, incrementally. Tree by tree. She walks to the newest sapling, the apple tree, kneels beside it, opens the bottle, pours a small amount around the base, not for sterilization, for ceremony. This one's for you, she says to the ground, to Apostolos, to the ash and decomposition, feeding the roots. Another tree, another year, another kid learning that people matter more than efficiency. The soil absorbs the alcohol. She caps the bottle, stands. A carrier howls in the distance. Closer than usual, the kid stops swinging, looks toward the sound, not afraid, just aware. Should we check? The kid calls. In a minute, Noemi says. Let's finish here first. She walks to the center of the grove, the oldest tree, the first one they planted together, 3 years of growth, bearing fruit now, small apples, tart, not quite ripe, but coming, eventually. She picks one, turns it over. The skin is scarred, imperfect, but underneath it's healthy, growing. The kid runs over. Is it ready? Not yet. Soon. How soon? When it's ready. Can't rush fruit. Apostolo said that? He did, and he was right. The kid nods, accepts it, runs back to the swing. Noemi watches. The kid is unburdened, light, the way children should be, the way Apostolos wanted them to be. She pulls his backpack from her shoulder, the one she's been carrying since he died, empty except for his cracked Nokia and the memory of everything they survived. She walks to the edge of the grove, where the kid is swinging. Here, she says, holding it out. This was his. Now it's yours. Really? Really, fill it with whatever matters. Seeds, tools, snacks, doesn't matter what, just carry it forward. The kid takes it, slings it over small shoulders, too big, awkward, but the child adjusts, makes it work. What was he like, the kid asks, stubborn, funny in the worst ways, believed people were worth more than their blood type. Noemi smiles, small, real. He'd like you, even though I never met him? Especially because you're here anyway, learning, planting, staying human. She touches the interlocking circles on her arm. That's what he wanted, for the work to continue, for someone to carry it forward. You're doing that. The kid considers the backpack, the weight, the responsibility, then nods. I can do that. I know you can. The carrier howls again, closer. The kid looks toward the sound. No fear, just readiness. Now should we check? The kid asks. Now we check. They walk toward the sound, together. Noemi's hand rests on the dark blade at her hip. The kid carries the backpack, Apostolos' backpack, empty but not weightless. The world is still broken. Carriers still hunt. But the grove grows. The kid learns. And the work continues. Not because there's hope for rescue, not because there's a cure coming, but because connection matters more than commodification, because teaching matters more than hoarding, because staying human, even when it's hard, even when it hurts, even when the person who taught you that is buried beside a ranger station, matters most of all. The carrier howls one more time. They don't run from it. They just turn toward the sound, together, and walk, unburdened by false hope, carrying only what matters, forward. The kid asked about the circles on my back, I say. What did you tell them? That it means I'm not alone. Good answer. The kid didn't get it. They will. We stand together, watching the grove, the kid on the swing, the trees we've planted, the fruit that will come, the distant sound of a carrier howling somewhere beyond the perimeter. The cycle continues. Carriers, survivors, the constant negotiation between hope and reality. We don't pretend it's perfect. Don't pretend the world is fixed. It's not. It's still broken. But we're still here. Still planting, still teaching kids about root systems and water tables and why spacing matters. Still choosing connection over commodification. Still staying human. Someone's coming, Noemi says. She's looking toward the road, the path that leads from the settlement to our grove, a figure walking, carrying something. We don't reach for weapons. Not anymore. If they wanted us dead, they'd come different, quieter, more prepared. The figure gets closer, young woman, maybe 20, carrying a radio, the same model we used for the broadcast. You're Apostolos? She asks when she reaches us. Yeah. And Noemi? That's me, Noemi says. The woman sets the radio down. I've been carrying this for 2 months, following your broadcast, trying to find where it came from. Why? Because my settlement needed to hear it. We were building a tower, different than the battery, but same idea. Concentrating resources, prioritizing the strong, trading people for security. She looks at the grove. Then we heard your message about staying human, about connection mattering more than efficiency. Some people dismissed it, but enough people listened that we voted, dismantled the tower before it was complete. And now, I ask, now we're trying to figure out what comes next. I was hoping you could, I don't know, tell us, guide us, something. I look at Noemi. She looks at me. We're thinking the same thing. We're not leaders, not prophets, just 2 people who destroyed one tower and planted some trees. We can't guide you, I say. The woman's face falls. But the broadcast is instructions, not commandments. You take what's useful, leave what's not, build something that works for your settlement, not ours. What if we fail? Then you fail. Then you try something different. That's not very reassuring. No, but it's honest. The woman is quiet, processing. After a moment, she picks up the radio. Can I at least see what you built, so I have something concrete to bring back? Noemi gestures to the grove. This, 28 trees, fruit-bearing, positioned for long-term yield. We plant, we teach, we share what grows. That's the model. That's it. That's it. No walls, no hierarchies? No systems that turn people into components, I finish. We tried that. It doesn't work. This does. Or at least it works better. The woman walks through the grove, examining, touching bark, checking soil. She stops at the newest sapling. The apple tree. This one's fresh. Planted today, I say. Kids project. You're teaching them? They're teaching me. I just provide context. The woman smiles, small, like she's found something she wasn't expecting. Maybe I will bring something back after all. Seeds? No. Hope. The real kind, not the kind that promises evacuation or immortality. Just, she gestures to the trees, just fruit that might come eventually. That's all any of us have. She stays for another hour, asks questions, takes notes, plays with the kid on the swing. When she leaves, she's carrying one of our saplings. Wrapped in cloth, protected. Think she'll make it? Noemi asks. I don't know, but she's trying. That counts. We watch her disappear down the road, then turn back to the grove. The kid is helping now. Watering, weeding, learning. We should plant another tree tomorrow, I say. Where? Wherever there's space. We'll figure it out. A carrier howls in the distance. Closer than before. Noemi tenses, hand moving toward the dark blade she keeps on her hip. Should we go check? She asks. In a minute. Let's finish here first. We walk to the center of the grove. The oldest trees, the first one we planted. 3 years of growth, bearing fruit now. Small apples, tart, not quite ripe, but coming. Eventually, I pick one, turn it over in my hand. The skin is imperfect, scarred, but underneath it's healthy, alive, growing. Apostolos? Noemi says, yeah? Do you ever regret it? The contamination, the tower, all of it? No. Do you? No. Good. The carrier howls again. Noemi's hand tightens on her blade. We should really go check. I know, but we don't move. Not yet. We stand in the center of the grove, surrounded by trees we planted, fruit that will come, a kid learning about root systems and hope. The world is still broken, but we're still here, still choosing to stay, still choosing each other. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's always been enough. The carrier howls one more time. We don't run from it. We just turn toward the sound, together, and walk.